Host in the start of the Late Pick 5 here in race 4, and live coverage with Maggie Wolfendale again on site. Did a terrific job yesterday. We'll have a lot more from her coming up out of Tampa just a little bit. They are coming up on post time for race 4.
Yeah, look, her weather is probably a little bit better than ours.
We have a nice day today, though.
It's a little chilly out there, Wolfie. People always look at me like I'm crazy on the subway with the shirt on. It's like, where is he going?
He's coming in from Florida, probably. We'll talk this Late Pick 5 in a moment. My first love right now, even money, the 2. But we'll get to Tampa first. Mile and 40 yards in this maiden special weight for 3-year-old fillies. As you look at the board, let's check in now with Maggie Wolfendale for more. Hi, Maggie.
Hey, Greg, and we'll take a look here at the very expensive daughter, somewhat expensive daughter of Constitution. That's number 1, Summer Gray, as she will debut here and debut at a distance at 1 mile and 40 yards that you don't often see horses doing as such. Now, she is built for it. She is very long and lanky and definitely has the pedigree to say that this should be well within her wheelhouse. But watching her in the preliminaries, she's just been a bit green overall, especially linking up with the pony, kind of getting going as well. So maybe wait and see approach as Todd will bookend this field. And I love number 8, Nona Teresa, getting more ground to work with. She too has the pedigree to say that this is definitely her preferred distance. I wrote that in her my notes when she debuted back on August 16th behind Tennessee Belle, who did have experience over her. She's coming in here with some pretty fast and nice workouts over at Palm Beach Downs, and she's filled out a bit more. So for me, she's the Todd Pletcher horse I would prefer, but all the money, at least as they reach the gate, Greg, is going to the inside debut runner, Summer Gray.
Yeah, that is her stablemate for the Pletcher. Barn Edgar Zayas will ride. He had 3 wins yesterday. The debut for, as Maggie mentioned, this expensive daughter of Constitution, purchased for $325,000. So debut coming up. She's the favorite from the rail.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love when they send the dirt horses to Tampa. Like, that can happen from time to time. The big trainers, right? The Todds, the Chads of the world. The turf horses, they can still send a good one up there, but to me, when they send the dirt ones, they're looking for a softer spot. For me, I'm going to go with the 8 towards the outside. Nona Teresa, a horse that took money first time out. Look, if you're 2-1 as a 2-year-old at Saratoga, something about what you've shown in the morning, what the connections feel about you, what riders have come back and said. You don't just go off 2-1 in Saratoga because you're trained by Todd Pletcher. You go off 2-1 in the maiden special weight because you've got some talent. Now there's been some time to grow up a little bit. There's some Lasix that's been added, drawn well towards the outside on a racetrack that's historically favoring in outside post positions. I'm going to go with the 8 towards the outside.
Meanwhile, Chad Brown on the race as well. He's got Market Chill the 4. 3 starts all long on grass. So dirt debut coming up with the 4 Sammy Camacho rides. Let's go to Jason Beam for the 4th from Tampa.
Edgar Zayas now hopping back on board Summer Gray. Looks like there's 3 more left to load. Endless Glory, Market Chill, and Nona Teresa will be all set for a start. Race number 4, named in memory of Derek Norwood. Market Chill, Sammy Camacho for Chad Brown in the Klarovich colors. And Nona Teresa in the St. Elias green and white. Goes in. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Endless Glory in the blue silks out to the early lead. A Phoenix, Market Chill, and Summer Gray coming through. And Summer Gray going to be quickest of them all. Wins the race to the first turn and cuts the corner just in front. Summer Gray floats a path or 2 off, but still in the lead. Endless Glory coming up the inside now. Cora taking advantage of that rail spot as Summer Gray continues to drift further out. All the way on the outside. Evangelina's got to be about 6 or 7 paths wide. Right inside of that one comes Market Chill. Nona Teresa moves inside of that runner. Then comes a Phoenix, and at the back early on is Violet's Charm. So an odd first quarter here as they're now stacked up 4 across the track. Evangelina out wide. Endless Glory, Summer Gray. Cora now a length back in the 4th spot. Market Chill, Nona Teresa, they're racing 5th and 6th. Only 2 lengths cover the top 6. It's 2 more back to a Phoenix and now 3 more to the long shot Violet's Charm. 24.69 seconds for the opening quarter miles. They run past the half-mile pole. And on the front end, it's Evangelina And Endless Glory to the inside. Now here comes Market Chill up after them on the outside. Summer Gray is back a couple of spots, is now a joint fourth. In between horses, Nona Teresa. Phoenix is trying to lift up on the outside, has gone to within a length and a half of the leader as Market Chill just in front of Evangelina Endless Glory. Phoenix out 4 wide, trying to gain on them from the far outside. In behind that, Summer Gray has dropped back, being joined by Cora. Violet's Charm is trailed throughout. To the top of the stretch they come. Market Chill, a challenge from a Phoenix on the outside. Market Chill turns about 5 wide into the lane, but has a length and a half advantage. A Phoenix going to go to a more inside path. Cora is running on down toward the fence, is taken over third. Summer Gray's back into the mid a little bit, but is far too far behind to win at the 16th pole. Market Chill now starting to edge away, and Market Chill going to win this one here. Market Chill by about 4.5 in the end. A Phoenix was second, Cora third. Summer Gray got up for fourth.
Public did not let this one sneak by. Made this one the favorite. Chad Brown, Klarovich Stables, and Sammy Camacho goes off the 2-1 favorite.
Yeah, I mean, you can't knock Chad for trying this horse on the turf. Obviously, Chad very efficient in turf racing, but you also have a not this time. Why not give the horse a chance? But at the same time, when it doesn't work out, one of the great parts of having a not this time is let's try the dirt.
Indeed. Late pick 5 starts here in New York. Post Fray, the one defended, went by. Michelle Giangiulio.
Yeah, it's a horse that has some speed from the inside. We'll need to use it.
Pratt went by on My First Love.
Yeah, one that is being a little bit overbet to my estimation.
Here's best impression, Wayne Potts off the claim.
Yep, off the trainer change, you got to identify whether or not you think this horse will be able to improve, will be involved pace-wise.
Manny Franco rolling by on an Open Soul Autism.
Yeah, I didn't see this one, even though there was a 3-race win streak in the near past.
Tremont Kara is going to be coming from way out of it.
Yeah, we'll need some pace to kind of cook in front of her.
And one who's going to be up front and forward, Problematica, Oscar Barrera.
Yeah, this is the one for me. This is the one I'm going to land on. Drawn well, third off of a break, cutting back from the 7 to the 6.5. There's lots to like there.
You know I love you, right?
I most of the time I'm sure of that.
I do. But I do miss Megan. She was on the desk with me yesterday. But good to have her back on the show. Let's go downstairs to Megan Burgess.
I miss you too, Greg. How'd you know? But lots of fun there with JK earlier this morning. And I agree as far as the number 2 being over bet, as I landed on the number 6, Problematica, in this spot. And she's a one-dimensional type of speed horse who I believe gets the opportunity to control here, as I find she will be quickest out of there. And, you know, just in terms of her condition, she is a smaller filly, just kind of getting to know her a little bit in Saratoga. And I remember when Tom Amos, her former trainer, remarked that she was 700 pounds soaking wet. But I will say this, I was interested to see her physically because she is one of those types that potentially a bit harder of a keeper, but she's carrying her weight well. She's fit, she's athletic. I like what I've been seeing from her. But as far as the number 1 defended, shipped here in better form and hasn't quite been the same for trainer Michelle Giangiulio. But last out, interestingly, didn't go to the lead, although she was sharp. I'm hoping they're a little bit more aggressive with her from the inside, as she was no match. Looks first came out of that race to win for 20 in the next start. But I liked what I saw from her physically, especially when they got the tack on her. She's athletic, she's fit, she's carrying her weight well. Here in the colder months, her coat looked fantastic. So 6-1 for me in this one, Greg.
Meanwhile, it's this one, center stage of our screen, just getting hammered by the public. 4-5 now. My First Love, Flavian Pratt, usually gets overbet with good reason. And he's riding for the Dutro barn here in a big drop down.
Yeah, I think it's the drop in Flavian that are leading to this horse taking all this money. I thought his last two performances were pretty disappointing. You could even go 3 back and still be disappointed.
3-5.
A little too short for me.
Wow.
But you know what happens when you say that. You put him in the winner's circle.
Yeah. He had a big day earlier this week. 4 wins on the card. See if Pratt can add another with a huge odds-on favorite here to start this late pick 5. Chris Griffin, the call.
And they're off. Open Soul Autism has early speed and defended. Now at the rail, moves on through and defended is quickest. Defended is offensive minded, is now a neck in front. Open Soul Autism is right there, a challenging second. Here comes another pair. Up on the far outside, that's Best Impression. On the far outside, Problematica. That's the leading four. Just in behind them is a patiently ridden My First Love, second to last, and the trailer, Dream On Kara. 22.77 for the opening quarter mile. Defended with a head advantage, 4 furlongs left to go. Open Soul Autism is right there in second. 3 wide is going to be Best Impression. 4 wide, a wide rally for Problematica. Still at the rail is My First Love. Flavienne Pratt just patiently waiting down towards the inside, and Dream On Kara from the back gets Defended, who starts to take about a length and a half on the rest of the field. Defended gets the cue to kick for home. My First Love has been hugging the rail the entire time with a quarter mile left to go. They reach the top of the stretch down the center of the racetrack. Best Impression starts to run on. Problematica, it's still Defended, holding him off. My First Love making hard work of it down on the inside, trying to rally on. Here comes Best Impression down the center of the racetrack, and Best Impressions put a nose in front. Defended, not going away without a fight. My First Love is in third. It is Best Impression to win it. Best Impression will win it over Defended, My First Love, and Open Soul Autism in 1 minute 19.08 seconds.
Best Impression with the victory here, and a couple of wins on the card for Jamie Rodriguez, teaming up with Wayne Potts, first off to claim victory.
Yeah, made a really good first impression for the Wayne Potts barn here. Ended up getting an okay trip, right? I mean, the one took all the pressure, did all the dirty work, and Best Impression just sat right outside and continued to kind of grind that one down as they got to the wire.
5-1 upset of a 4-5 favorite to start the late pick 5. 3-1-2-4 finish. We're jumping over to FS2 right now. Welcome to those joining us on Fox Sports 2. Good to have you with us on this Sunday afternoon. You're watching America's Day at the Races, live here in South Ozone Park, New York, for the Aqueduct card. Greg Wolf alongside Jonathan Kinchen. We have Maggie Wolfendale out at Tampa Bay Downs. Megan Burgess with us here downstairs, and we're just underway in this late pick 5 here in New York, and an upset to start things off.
Yeah, absolutely. A nice price, 5-1 to get started with Best Impression. First off the claim for Wayne Potts. Worked out a pretty nice trip in here, too, for a horse that's got some tactical speed, some forward speed, was able to kind of sit in behind those leaders early.
3-1-2-4 is how it finished. Best Impression, 2 wins already on the card for young Jamie Rodriguez. And now this 5-year-old mare, 4 wins, 4 runner-ups, and 15 career outings. Pretty productive career to this point. And a nice little upset if you had it to start off your pick 5, beating a 4-5 favorite.
I did not have it. Was that a question or a hypothetical?
Just to our audience.
Okay, check it again.
But yeah, look, I mean, I think we both thought My First Love probably a little bit overbet at that price, right?
I mean, yeah, I was right about that, but I was wrong about my top choice who didn't hit the board, the 6. So, you know, 2 wrongs don't make a right.
No, they do not. Best Impression, winner prices coming up in a moment. Here's what's ahead, presented by Claiborne Farm. Money conditions here in New York with the late pick 4 to come. Races 5 through 8, including our feature. Big scratch, too, in that 6th race. Unfortunately, we don't get that rematch with Whammo and Pantherian. Pantherian comes out. Tampa Bay races 5 through 9 still to come as usual. Beautiful weather, fast and firm, and we'll get back to Maggie Wolfendale in just a little bit for those who've been following our coverage on the app before we came on to Fox Sports 2. You play it all right there at NYRA Bets. Get that $200 deposit match new customer bonus with that code. Add sign-up bonus 200. And bet any track, anywhere, anytime at NYRABets.com. Less than 2 weeks away from the Eclipse Awards. Who will take home top honors in the turf division? Could it be deterministic? What a summer he had for Miguel Clement with Kendrick Carmouche. We'll talk his credentials when we come back. Back with you on our Sunday coverage on Fox Sports 2. Thanks for being with us. Brooklyn Bridge. It's my hood.
Yeah, you and Jay-Z.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Get signed up, started at NYRA Bets, and play all the action we have ahead, including a late pick 4 still to come. Here in New York, it was best impression to start the late pick 5. 5-1 upset. 2 win days mentioned for Jamie Rodriguez.
Absolutely. Comes in off the trainer change and was able to reach back, find some of that previous form. Ended up getting a pretty good trip. Came off the turn a little bit wide, but I think that probably helped. I think it discouraged the 6, who was my top choice in here, and was able to just kind of keep grinding away at this loose leader in here who had to take pressure from a lot of other horses.
Favorite down on the rail with no real impact. My First Love coming up empty in the stretch at odds on. And best impression keeps rolling for this victory. Again, 4th win of this 5-year-old mare's career for 3 players stable. And it's got to feel pretty good to win first off the claim for any trainer that makes a move like that. Yet to hear if this one got taken or not.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you claim a horse, you've got ideas and thoughts about how you could potentially improve, some changes you can make, some things you can do, and I would imagine that it's a very rewarding feeling when that goes the right way.
Race 5. So here we go. The late pick 4 starts in this race coming up. 6 furlong sprint. $12,000 maiden claiming race, so all for sale for that price. And right now it's Gray Ace outside the slight favorite for the Mitch Friedman barn. Ruben Silvera rides, drops to the lowest level that he has ever run at before.
If it's possible, Wolfie, to love a horse and a maiden claiming,
I don't know if it is.
12-5. If it's possible.
Okay.
Okay, we can decide. We can sit on a Twitter poll. Is it possible? If it's possible, I am in love with the 2.
Okay.
If it's possible. Compare, especially like with the 8 taking this money here, I just think Gypsy Dreaming just has so much space. I mean, so much pace, excuse me.
Against better, yeah.
Yeah, cutting back a little bit. I like Gypsy Dreaming quite a bit in here.
We shall see. From, wow, maiden special to 75 to 50 to 20, now down to 12.
It's the bottom.
Little concerning, but yeah, this is going to be the easiest test yet for Gypsy Dreaming, who should be the favorite by the time the gates open. Let's talk Eclipse Awards male turf division. They come up a week from this coming Thursday. And 2-horse race here with Deterministic and Notable Speech. Both have 2 Group or Grade 1 wins. For Deterministic, I don't know if there's a better story maybe on the year. One of the great stories just with winning that Manhattan and how it happened. Miguel Clement, his father, passing away right before that and winning on the last race of the meet, and then adding the 4-star Dave. But in terms of the 2 Grade 1s for Deterministic and Notable Speech, you got to give the edge probably to Notable Speech and the quality of wins, don't you?
I think that the Deterministic, what he did, what he accomplished, what he's accomplished in his entire career, not only just last year, it's pretty cool, right? Don't forget, he won a dirt race as the Gotham as a 3-year-old. And then he comes back and he wins 2 Grade 1s this year on the grass. And like you said, the story that accompanies that, it means a lot. But I will say that I've always looked at Grade 1s in this country as Grade 1s and Grade 1 pluses, right? The Breeders' Cup is a Grade 1 plus. You get a little extra. You get 1.5 for that. So if you look at it that way, Notable Speech has 2.5 Grade 1s against Deterministic's 2.
But you usually say, and here's Notable Speech winning the Breeders' Cup Mile, winning at Saratoga at a Grade 1 is sort of a plus.
It is, but it matters what races, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the 4-star Dave, and I love the races that we run, the Manhattan, all those things. They're all great. But I think that some of those bonus Grade 1s are like the Travers, the Whitney.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that really jump out at Saratoga as being those premier kind of races. I think if you win the Breeders' Cup like Notable Speech did, and unfortunately Deterministic wasn't able to run there, it would have been fun to see them kind of link up together. I think you have to give the nod to Notable Speech. Now, I would have said prior to the votes being submitted, I would have said Deterministic on the show so I could try to sway the vote, because I would love for Deterministic to win.
Yeah,
but I think Notable Speech is the fair one.
Okay. I'm getting a phone call right now. It's Acacia and Miguel. They want to talk to you.
The votes are already in, guys.
Female turf horse. She feels pretty, had quite a campaign. Came up short, though, to Gazora. And that Breeders' Cup filly and mare turf. go to Maggie for her thoughts on this division.
Yeah, I think this is a slam dunk division for She Feels Pretty. Yes, Gazora did beat her in that Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. I get it, but She Feels Pretty was second. And Gazora, she only had the one race in the U.S., so it kind of harkens back to that discussion that we were having on the show earlier this week when it comes to older handicap horse. And do you give it to Forever Young, who only had one start in the States? And Gazora, she only had the one start in the States, and she only had the only other Group 1 victory in France, where She Feels Pretty had the 2 Grade 1 victories in the States. I think as a body of work, it goes hands down to She Feels Pretty. And Greg, I have one goal for today, and that is to be more accurate, which I think I can easily accomplish, than the weatherman, because this stuff falling from the sky was not supposed to happen when I checked my weather app yesterday.
But Maggie Braves through it. She can handle anything.
That's nothing for her.
No.
Yeah, she does win. She does Aqueduct in the winter, so she'll figure it out.
Yeah, she'll be fine. We feel for you, though, no question. Yeah, She Feels Pretty. What a campaign for trainer Cherie DeVaux, and even a defeat. I mean, that was a valiant effort in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf from that far outside post.
Yeah, I mean, look, our Breeders' Cup is obviously very important, and Gazora obviously beat She Feels Pretty in that head-to-head matchup, but it's more of a body of work. It's not just one race. Gazora got her trophy for winning the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah.
This is about who was the best horse in North America for the year, and it was definitely She Feels Pretty. I wouldn't be offended the other way, but I do feel like She Feels Pretty definitely deserves it.
Yeah, seems like she is absolutely deserving. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. New faces, top apprentice. It's a tough category, too. Christopher Elliott in the mix, as we've seen him firsthand improve race by race, month by month. He's in the mix. We'll talk about his chances next.
$1,600,000, thank you.
You bet with NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the NYRA Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the NYRA Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with NYRA Bets.
In racing, bloodlines are kingdoms, and every kingdom needs an heir. Sired by Uncle Mo, Kingsbarns was chosen for greatness. An $800,000 two-year-old built like an empire. He defeated champion Arcangelo on debut, dominated the Louisiana Derby in his third start, and achieved a defining victory in the Grade 1 Stephen Foster. Kingsbarns, where the line of kings continues.
The thrills.
Speed King down the lane with a 3-length lead.
The drama.
Sandman trying to dive after him.
The triumph.
Speed King all the way.
It's all going down at the 2026 Southwest Stakes. This is the race where legends rise on the road to the Kentucky Derby, and a $1 million purse up for grabs. The stakes are high and the competition is fierce. Don't miss out. Plan your stay today and come join the fun.
Back with you at Tampa Bay. Race 5 is coming up. Pick 5 starts here on our Sunday coverage. And let's get to the post-parade. Mile and 40 yards, $16,000 maiden claiming race. All for sale for that price. Here's Night Raven, Antonio Sanobarn.
Yeah, Night Raven making his 6th career start. Hasn't really run all that great until last time. I think he just found a soft group.
Strong barn here. Gregory Sacco first off the claim with World Wide Web.
Taking the blinkers off, getting Lasix for the first time.
Hallows Ice. Tim Padilla trains, gets Lasix.
Absolutely. You're going to see that quite a bit at the beginning of the year. These 2-year-olds turning 3, getting Lasix for the first time, also one of them.
Here's Moral Power, who was on the turf long last start.
Yeah, a little bit of guessing, it seems like, with this one trying the turf last time.
Marcan Love, new gelding, gets Lasix as well, and back to dirt.
Yeah, hasn't really done much running, hasn't been bet very much either.
Star Prince, 0 for 9, has only hit the board once.
Yeah, and hasn't really been a short price, but hasn't really done a lot of encouraging running either.
First time on dirt, Jeffersonian for Owen Hardy.
I thought this one was interesting, taking a little bit of money in both starts, gets the blinkers and the Lasix.
Kathleen O'Connell barn, willing one, stretching out.
Yeah, another one who's run a couple times on the dirt, but the numbers just haven't been good enough.
So 2 minutes to post. Race 5 here at Tampa. It's World Wide Web, the favorite for Gregory Sacco. Blinkers come off, getting Lasix. Let's go to Maggie for more.
Yeah, we'll check in with World Wide Web, who ran in a pretty decent maiden field at Saratoga in his second start, beaten by Champagne winner Napoleon Solo that day. And I'd written in my notes that World Wide Web would prefer more ground. So he hasn't really panned out, to be fair. Honestly, I was trying to get a shot with the gate behind us, but they started to move it, and now I'm just getting loud tractor noises, so my apologies there. But World Wide Web getting Greg Sacco at the helm now. First off the claim, getting Lasix 2 for the first time. Blinkers coming off. I just don't know how much he's gone on, as his form would reflect. But I do like this spot for him, getting a bit more distance to work with and getting the addition of Lasix, because last time in that 5.5 sprint where he was close to the pace, so foreseeably should be forward in here with that inside post position, he was just very one-paced. And for me, that usually equals the more ground, the better. As we'll move on to a few that are trying new things for the first time, including number 8, Jeffersonian, who will try the dirt for the first time. Son of Constitution, his progeny seems to be best going long on the dirt, and he has have to played hard, who is a multiple graded stakes winner going long on the dirt, including winning the Grade 1 La Troyenne. He looks like a dirt horse through and through. He has very short, upright pasterns, smaller foot to him. He's gotten a little bit hot now as he's kind of second off a little bit of a break now and making his 3-year-old debut, but I do like this spot for him. I wish he was more settled, like I said, as he continues to be on his toes and very kind of nervous acting, but this is the right spot for him, especially with the drop in class. Number 9, Willing One. This very well could be the speed as he stretches out from the 6 furlongs, and he has been on the muscle from the word go, walking over with the pony. But it's not nervous energy, it is just aggressive energy, which I like to see. But physically, he definitely looks as though he should be able to stretch his speed. He's a big guy, son of Kozan in here for Kathleen O'Connell, who continues a prosperous Tampa Bay Downs meet so far. He's one my eye kept going back to, as well as a long shot in number 6, Marcan Love, who will get Lasix and race as a gelding here for this Maryland bred, who, his lone try going long on the dirt was a maiden special weight, albeit at Delaware, but dropping back down to the bottom here in this condition, he fits the bill. He looks like a dirt router through and through, and just looks really well turned out overall. So a long shot maybe to fool around with at 13-1, Greg.
Yeah, a lot of changes. Thank you, Maggie, with this 6. So getting back to dirt, new gelding, Lasix as well, and ran against a better group, although it was at Delaware. You got to compare a different circuit to Tampa here, but for 25 at Delaware sprinting, credible 3rd place finish for this level.
I think that's the beauty of speed figures, Wolfie, is that they were created to compare races from different racetracks at different distances on different surfaces to try to find that kind of that equilibrium of a number. And I think that, you look at a horse like the 6, he's not too far off in a spot like this, 14-1. I'm going to land on the 8, Jeffersonian, because the horse has taken money in 2 starts, and one of those starts being a maiden special weight. And we talk about taking money, usually there's some indication the horse is going to run well, whether it be something in the morning, the connections like the horse, the pedigree, there's something there. And I think maybe adding the blinkers and getting the Lasix is the things that wakes this one up. I'm going to go with the 8, Jeffersonian.
There's quite a few interesting horses now. Star Prince, a little interesting. Favorite could be tough too, though. World Wide Web, 9-5 with that equipment change. See what happens here in the 5th. Jason Beam, the call.
Here in the gate. And the race is on. Dipping there was Marcan Lovett shortly after the start. The favorite World Wide Web was away in good order. Willing One from the far outside. Night Raven down toward the fence. It's Moral Power going to drop just in behind them in the 4th spot. But it's Willing One from that outside draw, trying to cross over in front of the 2 inside runners. Does so now as World Wide Web and Night Raven are joined on the outside by Jeffersonian in that 2nd flight. Star Prince is out in the 5th spot, shadowing Moral Power, who's now back 6. 2 more to Hallows Ice. And at the back is Marcan Love. They're only about 8 lengths front to back as they start that backstretch journey. 24.57 seconds for the opening quarter mile. It's Antonio Gallardo and Willing One on the front end, a length and a tail to the good. Trying to get a touch closer now is Jeffersonian in the 2nd spot. Night Raven on hold in 3rd. Star Prince moving up to the outside of that one now to poke a nose into that 3rd spot. World Wide Web's right between them, so 3 of them in a line in the 2nd flight. It's a break of 3 more. Back to Moral Power, who races in 6th. The 2 at the back, Marcan Love and Hallows Ice. Opening half carved out in 48.87 seconds. Willing One to the far turn. The lead's down to a neck, though. Jeffersonian right up alongside. Star Prince is 2.5 lengths behind them, but set hard, trying to come after the leaders as they wind around the turn. On the inside, Willing One. On the outside, Jeffersonian just ahead, separate them. Star Prince, Moral Power's coming alive. 4 wide on the outside, Moral Power circling up. Then comes Night Raven toward the inside. Marcan Love. World Wide Web is back 2nd last as they come into the stretch. Willing One cuts the corner with Jeffersonian down the outside. Moral Power. Night Raven looking for a split in the red colors. Star Prince is not without a chance. Also Marcan Love late on the scene. 16th pole. Moral Power's made this long bid. Can he sustain it? Marcan Love charging on the outside. Moral Power to win it at 10-1. Marcan Love up for 2nd. Jeffersonian was 3rd. 4th went to Night Raven and 5th Star Prince.
Moral Power, I joked to you, he was about 30 wide around the turn. I mean, he was well off the rest of this group. He just kept on rolling through the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you get to this level, I think that you have the haves and the have-nots, the ones that want to win and the ones that don't. And a lot of times you end up guessing, trying to figure out who's going to run well. I couldn't have guessed that one. I thought he had a lot of chances to do well, and both of those were just a little bit too slow for me.
Back to New York, we talked about Christopher Elliott up for Apprentice Rider of the Year. So was the man on the 1, Yedsid Hazelwood, in town to ride on La Carrane.
Oh, good. I'm glad you got to say that one. I wanted to hear you say that. Yeah, I mean, look, this one, I thought last time was the time.
Gypsy Dreaming, 4 to 5 went by. We're up to the 4 already. Dawsama.
I don't need this one. We can go quicker.
How about it? Christopher Elliott in that category as well for Outstanding Apprentice.
3 back, ran well. No horses have won out of that race. Makes it a concern for me.
Blinkers coming off Jamaica Red, who had been showing some speed, but the last 2 starts had shown none.
Yeah, they're going to need to do more than blinkers off.
Well, this one actually figured a little bit here with the drop down, Natural Hunk.
This is named after you, or?
Come on, you're the hunk on the show. Everyone loves JK. And 3 to 1, Gray Ace outside. Big drop from 20, but if you are just tuning in and you missed what JK said earlier, you love the 3 to 5 favorite here?
No.
I know you don't love the price.
I said
but
if you're allowed to love a Maiden 12.5, I kind of love the 2. I like the 2 a lot. I would go on a second date with the 2 is what I'm trying to tell you.
Kendrick Carmouche on the speed likely of this field. Let's go down to Megan.
Wow. Hi, guys. Y'all are both natural hunks. You know that? And just for that, I'll touch on him in a moment. But I landed on a bit of a price in this field. Everybody dropping out of those Maiden 20 type tries, including the number 1, La Carrane, who is kind of an elongated. I understand why they tried turf with him, as he gets a pretty aggressive warm up there under. Yeah, it's at Hazelwood, who's just been riding fantastic. A Maryland import who's just been really making a statement here in New York. But one that's really getting going. I like that he's getting this horse kind of revved up because he was a little quiet, unassuming in the paddock, but he's athletic and fit. He's a bit angular behind, as I mentioned. I understand the turf tries, but I'm hoping, as I'm kind of sensing from the warm-up here in the preliminaries, that I'm hoping that he is a little bit more forwardly placed. His last time out, he kind of just chased and got a little discouraged, and then 2 back, which I thought was the race that really intrigued me. coming from off of it, and then he kind of just got shuffled, didn't have the best position, and then ran on really well late to capture third, albeit way back, and has to face Gray Ace yet again in this spot. But I thought he was very interesting, gets that rider change, and now drawing from the inside, hoping to see this horse be a little bit more forward, and I like what I saw potentially with the pocket trip and store. The number 2, Gypsy Dreaming for the Dave Duggan barn. World of respect there for them. Gets an aggressive rider with Kendrick Carmouche aboard, and as JK mentioned, speed is the ultimate commodity, especially in this spot where there's not a lot of it. We'll see how it materializes, but I find he could certainly be controlling up there on the front end. Wanted to give a shout out to the number 7, Natural Hunk, who I think this horse just has a big problem mentally. He gets so distracted and he just veers out epically at the break. He is not a good gate horse. He is very bad at getting out, but he does have that Houghton bit on to kind of help with that power steering, really help them with that control, hoping for him to really maybe focus up a little bit more. And with a clean break, I thought he looked great in the paddock. He's muscular, a compact sprinter that I think is where he belongs at this level, coming off a little bit of time. And I think, though, at a big price, he interested me a bit up there, Greg.
All right, thank you, Megan. Again, we got 2 of the 3 finalists for Outstanding Apprentice in this race. There's one of them, Christopher Elliott, who we have been able to see day in, day out here in New York, son of Stuart Elliott, who won the first 2 legs of the Triple Crown on Smarty Jones back in 2004. He's turned a lot of heads with his riding. All these 3 very deserving, though. Yetsid Hazelwood, though, has really made a lot of noise as an apprentice in Maryland.
No, certainly. I mean, it's hard to cut into any jockey colony, but my final answer is we talk about it year-round. The best riding colony in this country, maybe anywhere, is New York. And if you can find a way to carve out in the arena of 122 wins, I know he's probably won elsewhere as well, in New York, you deserve to get that little horse trophy, the Eclipse Award.
Hazelwood won the title for the fall meet, by the way, in Maryland. 137 wins on the year. Had a huge day on Maryland Million Day when he didn't get a weight allowance at all.
Well, Christopher
4 wins that day.
Christopher couldn't win the title where he rides full time because there's a guy named Flavian Pratt and Irad Ortiz riding there.
All deserving. We'll see what happens a week from Thursday. Set for this 5th to start the late pick for its Loch Curran, by the way. Correct pronunciation with a 1, 9-1. Hazelwood rides there from the inside. Let's go to Chris Griffin for the call.
Natural Hunk. Natural Hunk. Goes in. Gray Ace to the outside. Gray Ace. Last to load. And in. All set. And they're off. Gray Ace like a shot from the outside. It's Gray Ace right towards the front, and here comes Gypsy Dreaming towards the inside. Gypsy Dreaming is up by a full length and now turns it up, is up by a length and a half. Gray Ace is alone in second. At the rail, there comes Loch Curran, and How About It is in 4th. Moving forward from the 5th spot is going to be Jamaica Red up on the far outside. Then behind them is Da Sama, the 2 at the back. That's Midnight Musume and Natural Hunk. They move into the far turn and sprinting well cleared. Gypsy Dreaming was forwardly placed and trying to run them off their feet. 22.70. Gypsy Dreaming is the target. Gray Ace is up on the outside second. How About It in 3rd? The rest got to pick it up from there. Gypsy Dreaming has not come back to the field yet, has a 1/4 mile left to go, and Gypsy Dreaming now sprints for home. Gypsy Dreaming, Gray Ace is in full pursuit from second. How About It? Loch Curran, Dawsamaw, Natural Hunk trying to run on, but Gypsy Dreaming is got a furlong left to go, taking no prisoners right now. Gypsy Dreaming has a 16th left. Gray Ace is giving game chase, but Gypsy Dreaming is well clear and much the best. Gypsy Dreaming wins it. Gray Ace second. Natural Hunk gets up for 3rd. Then a photo, that's Loch Curran, and How About It? In 1 minute 11.73 seconds.
Gypsy Dreaming just breaks the hearts of this field pretty early on. Speed, his weapon. Gate to wire for the win.
At no point was I on the fence, Wolfie. I told you last night, I texted you and told you I love this horse. I told you this morning I said I was as in love as you could be with this horse. I never even tried to hedge a little bit. I didn't say, oh, if I could love a horse at 12.5, I would. I said I love this horse, and I was right.
It was a terrific, terrific call. Just sharp handicapping on your part to sniff out this 3-5 favorite. Well done, Gypsy Dreaming. Hey, look, you still got to win. Never in doubt.
It's just hard to trust horses at this level. I mean, you look on paper, and she made a lot of sense. I keep wanting to say she made a lot of sense. You know, the speed and fade. It's a new little thing of mine when it comes to these maiden races where, you know, you see these 0 for 9s and you start saying, oh, they don't want to win. You have to look at the prices that they were when they weren't winning. If they're odds-on favorites, they're favorites. We talked about this, I think, a couple weeks ago. Geopolitics is a great example of that. A horse that was always bet off the board and never really showed up. This horse kind of always ran where he was supposed to run based on his odds. He shows up in a spot where he's 3-5 and he wins like that. He is only going to do what he's able to do against the horses he's facing. And he faced a group today that fit right into his wheelhouse.
Jonathan, never scared to bet an odds-on favorite, Kinchen. With the 3-5 favorite, Gypsy Dreaming, gate to wire. Keter Carmouche for David Duggan, Trade Winds Farm. It was easy as could be. 2-win day for Carmouche. We'll be back. Back with you on our Sunday coverage on Fox Sports 2. It's brought to you in part by Gainesway Farm. Power, passion, performance. And we just saw a big performance from this trainer's 4-year-old Gypsy Dreamer, David Duggan. Another great year last year. 23, 24, 25 have been the 3 best years of his career when he had thought about stepping away from the sport. Good thing he did not. Gypsy Dreaming never in question the win here.
Yeah, I mean, I like Gypsy Dreaming. I like Dave Duggan a lot as well. Probably more than Gypsy Dreaming. You pointed out, I mean, to have the success he's having when he thought about walking away from it, I think says a lot. look, this is a poster child for finding the right spot for horses, accepting who they are, and Gypsy Dreaming probably wasn't good enough to win a 20 when there's $30, $40, $50,000 type horses dropping into those spots. Always gonna find someone better than him. But when he drops to the bottom, then he's that horse that's probably too good for the rest of them, and he wins like that for fun.
Move on to race 6. 6.5 furlongs in this New York bred allowance optional claiming group. And we're expecting to see this rematch between Pantherian and Whammo. They met in Pantherian's debut. Whammo crossed the wire first, got DQ'd. That win went to Pantherian. Unfortunately, that one scratched. And with that, Whammo now 9-5.
Yeah, it's weird though. With Pantherian scratching, Whammo should go up in price because Party in the Army has a little bit less pace pressure to deal with. I picked Whammo. Don't love the horse at 9-5, but I do think makes the most sense.
Champion sprinter, the pride of New Jersey, Bookham Dano did not compete in the Breeders' Cup, decided to pass on it, and the light campaign of Ben Tornado, who took the Breeders' Cup. Who should it go to? Stay with us.
The lead belongs to Epic Ride. He is showing them a clean pair of heels.
Eclipse champion Blame, standing at Claiborne Farm.
New York breds. Race them.
Respect them.
Bet them.
Respect them.
Breed them.
Respect them.
Buy them.
Respect them.
Train them for a second career.
Respect them.
Join us in respecting thoroughbreds at every stage of life. Learn more at nybreds.com.
She's so spicy. Speedy in that sprint.
Archangelo, the Belmont winner in charge. The Grade 1 Whitney to Arthur's ride.
And a dare manner will take the Clementine Hirsch. Olympiad gets the gold. It is Timberlake who's going to win.
Tap it twice. Tap it twice.
Sierra Leone in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Back on our Sunday coverage on Fox Sports 2. Going to be moving over to FS1 in the not too distant future here as we get set for race 6. Approaching the 17-minute mark to post here in New York on this muddy track. We have race 6 in Tampa coming up as well. And again, a major scratch with Pantherian coming out here in New York. Top sprinter, we talked about going to break. What an incredible story Bookham Dano really has been for a few years now. And his 2025 campaign, it was brilliant, but Connections made that really controversial choice not to go to the Breeders' Cup. So the last time we saw him, it was a Grade 1 win in the Forego, and a Grade 3, a Grade 2, a Grade 1 win, and a campaign where he was 4 for 5.
If Bookham Dano runs first, second, or third in the Breeders' Cup sprint, if he runs in it and runs first, second, or third, foregone conclusion, champion sprinter, in my opinion. Now, I do think that his 2 Grade 1 wins and his True North, which is like a Grade 2 plus, right?
Well, he's got 1 Grade 1 win.
Oh, the Vanderbilt. Sorry, the Vanderbilt's not a Grade 1 anymore. I mean, I think it makes it easy. Those are 3 really good races, very important races on big days, right? The True North, the Vanderbilt, and as well as the Forego, obviously a Grade 1, but like not participating. I'm not trying to punish him for it. I'm just trying to do what's fair, and I think that what's fair is giving it to the horse that won very impressively in the Breeders' Cup Sprint, and a race that Bookham Dano and his connections chose not to participate in.
Yeah, and look, he had a stakes win in the comeback race late in the year at Churchill, but similar figures in both those two races. The only two races he ran this year, backed it up in the sprint. I think it's tough to not give it to Ben Tornado. As much as I love and would want to see Bookham Dano win, because we love these connections. We love this horse, what he's done for this. He's been, you know, we talk about Torpedo Anna, and all she did for the sport last year. He's not far behind. He's been a great story, created a lot of fans.
Right, and I would think that in fairness, the reason they decided to take the path they took last year by skipping the Breeders' Cup is to have a full campaign this year, which could lead to him getting an Eclipse Award.
Yeah.
But if we're going to have the Breeders' Cup and it's going to be what it is, then it needs to carry a little bit of weight, or what's the point? And I think if you give that little extra weight to Ben Tornado's win in the Breeders' Cup, I think he's likely to
At the end of the day, too, they each have one grade one. And for Ben Tornado, it was the sprint. Let's get Megan's thoughts on what she thinks for the division.
Well, we kind of touched on this while we were at Oaklawn, and I went with Bookham Dano as the body of work suggests. But then when you really argument the case as far as just looking at how fast did they go, they each had one grade one victory. Of course, Bookham Dano in the Forgo and Ben Tornado in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Ben Tornado ran a 110 Beyer speed figure. Bookham Dano ran a 93 Beyer speed figure, excuse me, and what wasn't the fastest Forgo per se. So if we're just on raw figures and who was fastest, you would give it to Ben Tornado. And it happened to take place on the West Coast on a track that, you know, obviously it's a speedy track there on the West Coast where it ended up in that fruitful championship performance and a quick figure. But you also go back and Bookham Dano's form lines and realize, you know, we beat the likes of Mullican and Bishop's Bay, who's targeting some of those big races. So it's a really tough call. And at the end of the day, when looking at it on paper and just raw facts and figures, I do go to Ben Tornado a bit, not negating what I did say earlier on in this year when discussing this topic as far as the body of work of Bookham Dano. And at the end of the day, my biggest hope is into this year, we'll see both of them hopefully duke it out in the same race.
That was, I think, one of the showdowns a lot of people would have loved to have seen. Certainly, you know, Sovereignty, I can't get his name out. Sovereignty. The fever spiking, of course, was a big damper on things. But these two, for a pure showdown, was a little bit disappointing. But Connections made that bold choice. We'll see what happens. But
sadly, I would imagine they'll end up in a gate together, probably in a very far away land.
Yes.
In a desert somewhere.
Yes.
Eventually. But I also think that could lead to them seeing each other. Look, if Ben Tornado's healthy, he's the type of horse will be in the Forgo if he's healthy, right? He obviously, you know, he was a little bit, it was, you run twice in a year and you win by open links in both of them. Clearly there was something that kept you from running in more. Hopefully we'll see them together at some point, but I think these conversations about the Eclipse Awards are fun, right? That's what they're meant to be. We all feel differently about different races, and but for me, in this conversation, it'd be Ben Tornado.
Tend to agree with you. Bookham Dano, though, let's not forget, he ran actually a faster figure than Ben Tornado in that, what was the AG Vanderbilt?
Yeah, no, I mean, look, they're both really cool horses, but the purple race, the Breeders' Cup, has to have a little bit more weight to it. It just has to.
To Tampa, race 6, approaching the 6-minute mark to post this race, mile on the turf, maiden special weight. Let's go to Maggie.
Yeah, we'll take a look here at a familiar face, at least when it comes from New York, and that is number 8, Tis Freedom for Bill Mott. When I last saw him, which was when he was coming back off of that very long layoff, he just looked a bit chunky. He ran that way like he needed a start. And furthermore, he also faced in his subsequent efforts a very talented runner in Time to Win who had run very fast races up into that win as well. Looking at Tis Freedom, he's a lot more tucked up. Now 3rd off of that layoff. I like what I'm seeing from him a lot. He looks much like the horse to beat, as his price would suggest, at 3-2. I'd be pretty disappointed if he wasn't able to get the job done here. Now on to some horses trying the turf for the first time. Taking a look at number 10, 3% for Kate DeMasi. Showed promise in his first 3 starts here at Tampa and then thereafter at Monmouth, though in his last start at Monmouth, that wasn't the strongest field that he finished 3rd in, although running a fairly fast figure on the dirt. Now looking at his pedigree, he's by Audible, which is not a good influence, and there is not much pedigree in the first generation, though the second dam, Dancing General, she was a Cal-bred stakes winner, and the dam, Rising Light, Have to Bling Is My Thing, a graded stakes winner on the turf. So looking at 3%, he may handle the turf. He does look very fit here. Do note that we are having issues like we did last time with the horse that I'm familiar with in number 3, Stargell. I'm still not sure how to say it. He won't go. He held up the post time in that last start in New York on November 13th because he refuses to go the right way. We just got Antonio Gallardo in the iron, so he is going to go straight to the gate here. So Stargell, a bit of a bad actor. But getting back to some other horses trying the turf for the first time, number 4, Pacific Standard for Nick Goodwin. He's taking a lot of money from my perspective, sitting up there at 4-1. Now this horse is by West Coast, decent numbers with his progeny. All 3 siblings did try the turf. They never won on it, but they did run buyers in the 60s and 70s. Now, does that win this type of race? I'm not so sure. But that being said, he does have very slack pasterns, very flat foot to him. He looks like he should appreciate this surface change, especially at this distance. I think a mile here on the turf is well within his wheelhouse. Greg?
All right, Maggie, thank you. 6-5 favorite. Tis Freedom here. Mott, Zayas, blinkers on, Lasix, and obviously been competing here in New York against some pretty tough company.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you have horses that are showing up in New York and being, competitive, I like to say that Tampa's a little bit of a class relief in certain classes. I mean, obviously they have some big races there, but to a certain extent, if you can show that kind of progress in New York, it goes a long way.
Any price catch your eye in this race?
Honestly, yeah, I mean, Tis Freedom, catches my eye a little bit for a horse that I just feel like has faster numbers. If that horse can duplicate what Tis Freedom did last time, Tis Freedom's going to be tough. Now, I understand that last race was on the dirt, but a lot of times when you have a lightly raced horse who has a lot of turf races, shows up on the dirt, runs a really good race on the dirt, a lot of times that can translate in terms of just showing that the horse is in good form. And then getting back to a different surface could go a long way. So when it comes to Tis Freedom, getting the Lasix, getting the blinkers on, getting back to the grass where Bill Mott felt that it was appropriate to run the horse a couple of times, that could be the difference.
Wow, even money here. But yeah, huge number just in terms of what everyone else has done in this group. What this one, Tis Freedom, the 8, earned last start in, albeit different surface. 82 buyer though. It's going to catch your eyes, but has not been near that good on grass.
No, but that's the game you have to play, I think, is like, was the horse not as good on grass because they weren't getting the best out of Tis Freedom? Or now that we're getting the best out of Tis Freedom, what does moving back to the grass do for him?
Public says yes, all in. Let's go back to Maggie.
We do have a late scratch here. As I said, Stargell's bad acting has resulted in a late scratch. He's acting way worse than what he was at Aqueduct. He's figured out that if he refuses to go, he might not have to work. They can't even get him off the track right now as Antonio Gallardo has taken his tack off and he won't go, he won't move. So Yeah, hopefully maybe his groom can come out here and walk him home. But this is a horse that has gotten a little too smart, I'd say. Greg?
All right, Maggie, thank you. Short price here. Yeah, can I throw out a long shot?
No.
As just, I
Just
have
yes.
no idea. Look, this horse has run incredible efforts on synthetic sprinting and has been forwardly placed. And then finally got on the grass last time out and it didn't show a lot. But now stretching out, yes, I'm Jess. I just think it's a long shot. Maybe the fact this horse could have some pace and has shown ability on synthetic.
All right, let me.
A little interesting.
So let me just tell you all the things I like. The horse is bet every time. So there's obviously some talent there, right? The horse has some tactical speed, which is a translation to me of talent. You know, if you can run a little bit, you're fast. Now you got something to work with. And I don't mind the draw with the 5 because you're really in the 4 hole. You're going to be able to get in behind horses, get cover if you need to while you're trying to get that stretch out. I hate when stretch outs are drawn wide because they're usually in the clear, no cover, and they're losing ground. I have seen significantly crazier 10-to-1 shots, and honestly, significantly crazier 10-to-1 shots from you. That wasn't a dig. That was just me being honest.
Okay. Thank you. Have they panned out ever?
Of course they have.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course they have.
Yeah, there you see it, as Maggie alluded to. Stargell coming out, late scratch. Left-hand side of your screen, that is New York. Party in the Army. 6-5 has become, now even money has become the favorite. We'll talk more about Party in the Army and Whammo. Now they become the showdown. We're moving over to Fox Sports 1, so our coverage continues over there in just about 10 seconds or so. So we'll see you on Fox Sports 1 in just a few seconds with this 6th from Tampa and the 6th from Aqueduct. Welcome to those joining us here on Fox Sports 1. You're watching America's Day at the Races with race 6, both at Tampa Bay Downs and at Aqueduct to come. Greg Wolf, Jonathan Kinchen with you. Megan Burgess here downstairs in New York. We have Maggie Wolfendale on site at Tampa. This 6th at Aqueduct. Big scratch, Pantherian comes out, but Whammo and Party in the Army makes this a very interesting race.
Yeah, I mean, Pantherian would have made Whammo's chances, in my opinion, a little bit better. But we'll see what happens here in a couple minutes. We're going to jump to Tampa first, it seems. Look at me hosting.
I mean, you got one day in hosting while I was gone in London, and now you feel like this is your job. So take it away.
No. I prefer it when you do it.
3-5 favorite. Wow, 3-5 favorite. Before we just jumped over from FS2 to FS1, it was still a short price on Tiz Freedom. Now even shorter at 3-5. Was even money. And the huge jump up for those just joining us now on Fox Sports 1 came on a different surface for this horse. Came on dirt. Now it's back to turf. Blinkers go on, getting Lasix, and we'll see if the horse can continue to improve. And it's just maybe second back off the bench got better, and that continues, or was it the surface switch?
Well, I mean, it could be the surface switch, but for a Hall of Famer like Bill Mott, who's tried the horse on the grass twice, there was obviously something there that made Bill believe that that was a surface that would fit well with this horse. I think you just have a better horse, a more informed horse, now getting to the grass. But, Wolfie, I think before they get in the gate, your 5 horse that you talked about before we switched from FS2 to FS1, I think is very live. You made a good case there.
Yeah, 11-1. This horse, very good chance, is going to be forward. And first opportunity going long and the second time on grass for the 5. Yes, I'm Jess. We are set for race 6 from Tampa. Jason Beam, the call.
Kate DeMasi. Yes, I'm Jess in the white and turtle green colors to gate 5. Golden McKenzie going to be the final one to join. We'll be all set for a start. Today's 6th race. Late pick 4 time here at Tampa. Golden McKenzie goes in. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Power of Will in the center shows out first. Ricky's Kin from the outside is quick. Those two into the stretch. It's going to be Ricky's Kin on the outside and nose in front. of Power of Will down toward the fence. Just in behind them comes the favorite Tis Freedom. Pacific Standard also rushing up now. Pacific Standard, who broke slowly, is now all the way up to come up and challenge for the lead. Meanwhile, Golden McKenzie going to be caught out 4 wide there on the far outside. In behind horses comes 3%, who's racing along in the 6th spot. It's 2.5 more back to Yes I'm Jess in 7th. Bad Boy Butch is second last. And Flame Fires the trailer is up front. Pacific Standard all the way up to Pokeneck in front. Down on the inside, Ricky's Kin back to second. Those two have gone 2.5 clear of Power of Will. Golden McKenzie out wide. Tis Freedom the favorite in and amongst horses, 5th in those bright pink colors at about 3.5 off the top. It's another length then back to 3%. Then a space of 5 back to Yes I'm Jess. Another 5 back to Bad Boy Butch. And Flame Fire trails. 46.70 seconds for Pacific Standard, who takes him to the far turn. Ricky's Kin trying to keep pace with that one as a neck back in second. Meanwhile, Power of Will, Tis Freedom, they're getting closer, 3rd and 4th. They're within a length and a half of the leader as they wind around that turn. Pacific Standard now a length in front. Ricky's Kin starts to drop back. Tis Freedom on the outside, given the cue to come after this leader as they come around to the top of the stretch. Pacific Standard into the lane, floats a touch wide. Tis Freedom trying to move up to that one's outside. Power of Will has a seam in the 2 path, and down the far outside 3%. A final furlong left to go. Pacific Standard, Tis Freedom. These two continue to battle. Power of Will looking for a seam is 3%. Tis Freedom now going clear late. Tis Freedom the favorite. Tis Freedom to win it. 3% up for second. Third, I believe Pacific Standard held off Power of Will. It was a ways back to Ricky's Kin, who finished 5th.
The $500,000 son of Tiz the Law, former Belmont winner that kicked off the Triple Crown that COVID season with the Belmont Stakes, beginning the Triple Crown series. Tis Freedom back to turf, dominant win.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm sure that when you have a horse that you pay that much money for, you're not thinking it's going to take 6 starts to get it done and a couple different surfaces. But they absolutely did that time. Tis Freedom, blinkers on, Lasix added, getting back to the grass was the difference.
Well, we thought this was going to be the big showdown between Pantherian and Whammo. They have faced off 2 times before, but now it's the showdown between the 6 Party and the Army, who's the even money favorite on your screen, and the 2 Whammo.
There's enough speed in here, I think, to bother Party and the Army. There was going to be a lot more speed if Pantherian would have run the 4 who scratched. I'm going to go with the 2 Whammo in here. And Whammo is one that I don't feel like has to make the front, but is forward, can be connected, sit right in behind. I just think that at the end of the day, when this race is over, if Kendrick works out a trip that's a good trip to a perfect trip, Whammo wins. If it ends up being a situation where he's in trouble, he gets stopped, then okay, then I back off the opinion. But if he works out a good to great trip, the 2 wins.
Let's bring in Megan Burgess for more here on the 6th.
Well, the key about both of these horses is they both don't get out at the gate all that cleanly. They both kind of have their issues. So we'll see how each of these horses break is particularly what I think it could be contingent on as far as the early position. But I went with the number 6, Party in the Army, one that I've always been fond of and recently broke the maiden impressively. And just when discussing that 2-back effort, and while Whammo was very wide, didn't break clean, I thought that Party in the Army did some work on the front end there to just get beaten there late. So while you might think that Whammo was much the best, I still find that Party in the Army to me, was who I kind of wanted out of there. But we will see how this showdown unfolds. As I mentioned, let's keep an eye on how these horses are able to carry themselves out of the gate. Greg?
Yeah, definitely keep our eyes on that. Public going to the 6 here slightly is the favorite at even money. Whammo not far behind, who just moved in, the 2. At 8-5 for the Mike Maker barn. Had a win, DQ'd, came right back and won in the very next start, and then was a distant 3rd last start. As we get set for the 6th, let's send it upstairs. Chris Griffin, the call, race 6 from Aqueduct.
2 out. Sociably Johnny. Sociably Johnny. Instant Success. Instant Success. Going in. All set. And they're off. Top player showed early speed, but they're all shooting for the front, and here comes Party in the Army from in between horses now to assume command. Top players trying to hold that rail position, gets real tight here for top player, and top player is going to have to check out of there. Party in the Army is now in front, gets over to the rail, and top player who had to steady is second. Challenging towards the outside of that one comes a Whammo from 3rd. Outwider is Instant Success, who's in the 4th position. Gap of another 3 back to Escape Hall. Towards the back end, Miami Kaz, and the trailer, Sociably Johnny. 22.12 for that posted opening quarter. Party in the Army says, come get me. It's Top Player and Whammo. They're in pursuit from 2nd and 3rd, and Whammo's got the momentum. Here comes Whammo to the outside, is now taken 2nd. Top Player's back to 3rd. From the back, Escape Hall. Jamie Rodriguez on the move. He's got 2, looking for 3 on the day. But Party in the Army turns it for home and has the lead and tries to stretch out this margin. Party in the Army is now opening up, is up by 4.5, almost 5. Whammo still giving game chase. Escape Hall down the center of the racetrack, but they got a lot of ground to make up on Party in the Army. Party in the Army. Manny Franco almost there, a 16th left to go. Whammo still 2nd. Escape Hall's 3rd. Party in the Army. Gate to wire. Party in the Army won it. Whammo, Escape Hall, and Top Player at 1 minute 17.64 seconds.
Party in the Army put this race to bed pretty early and wins as the even money favorite.
Wolfie, if the best horse in the race gets the best trip in the race, probably not going to beat him. It's exactly what happened here. I mean, this was the best horse on paper. I think a lot of people thought could get some pressure, could get, from horses to the inside. They could run along with Party in the Army, but Party in the Army just got comfortable. And when you have the best horse in the race, get the best trip in the race, it's very hard to beat him.
Manny Franco for Jeremiah Englehart. Maiden win in career start number 5 last time out. Now first time in against winners, and pretty tough field. Most notably Whammo, of course, and it was not even close here. Gets to the front very easily and never looks back. Back-to-back wins now for this 3-year-old son of Army Mule. For Flower City Racing. And a short price here in race 6. 6-2. 5-1 finish. Party in the Army with the victory. We're going to look back to Saturday at Tampa. Excuse me, back-to-back stakes races. We brought you here on the program. Tessellate. Was she for real after that brilliant performance in the Juvenile Filly Sprint? Looked like in the Gasparilla. She wins again. And Drexel Hill, last year's runner-up of the Oaks. The victory and the wayward last. Stay with us. Back with you on our Sunday coverage on Fox Sports 1. It's brought to you in part by legendary Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Party in the Army. No doubt about it win. Here in the 6th, this 3-year-old New York bred dominant. Kate Dwyer, Jeremiah Engelhardt, Manny Franco, our winner circle lead-in. Brought to you by the Fasig-Tipton Kentucky Winter Mix Sale, scheduled for February 9th in Lexington, Kentucky. Enter now at FasigTipton.com. Got the lead. Man, just too quick for this group. No one put pressure on this horse.
Best horse, best trip. I mean, if I could predict it, I'd be a billionaire. These horses don't get beat when they're the best horse working out the best trip. I thought there was going to be a little bit more pressure for the 6, Party in the Army, but there wasn't. This is what you see. You get a horse that wins by open links.
Public got it right. $4.12 for the win. And Party in the Army now goes back-to-back off that maiden win last time out. Certainly backs it up. Whammo, distant second. Escape Hall completes a trifecta. But it's Party in the Army who shines here in race 6. Race 7. We will stretch back out to a one-turn mile. $100,000 claiming event. 4-year-olds up. I thought this was an incredibly even field where just about everybody had a shot.
I agree. But if Dr. Kraft stays 14-1, he's already, there's been a little bit of a click. He's 12-1 now.
He's my top pick.
Me too.
What's going on here?
Yeah,
it's early
great.
money.
Yeah, of course, it's early. But, I mean, the strength of schedule from that horse. There's no Doc Sullivan, no Bank Frenzy in here.
Yeah, well, these odds should change significantly. Right now, though, it is Bramido, probably the most consistent horse in the field, who's favored right now. Let's look back to yesterday's stakes action that we showed you here on the program from Tampa. And last year's runner-up in the Kentucky Oaks, Drexel Hill. She came back, first start since the Oaks. Back at the Mother Goose in November, she was second to Fully Subscribed, who could wind up being very, very good for Chad Brown. Wins this race pretty convincingly. Wide early, did not matter.
Yeah, I mean, you got to like her. You know, she won the Busher last year as a 3-year-old, goes on to the Oaks to run second to Good Cheer, comes back, like you mentioned, to Fully Subscribed and runs second, and then wins the Wayward Last. I guess the one thing, if you're poking a hole, is like her figures are going backwards. Her buyer was, in the Kentucky Oaks, was 88, Mother Goose 83, Wayward Last 81, but this is also a starting point as well.
It was first start of her 4-year-old campaign. And we'll see. Did she just do what she needed to do, or is there a lot more in the tank? You don't want to let it all out in your first start of the season, obviously, but it gets the job done. Let's go to, of course, Maggie Wolfendale. They're covering the races for us yesterday, and get your thoughts, Maggie, on what you saw.
Yeah, well, as far as Drexel Hill, I thought, physically she looked a lot more developed than what I had seen from her in the past, and two, just fitter having that race in the Mother Goose under her belt. So we'll see if she can continue on, and I thought a new dimension win lane closer to the pace. But as far as the Gasparilla was concerned, it went to Tessellate, who they were cutting back in distance for the second time after that blowout win, going the 6.5 furlongs there at Gulfstream in that Juvenile Fillies sprint, winning by 13 lengths. Now, yes, you could say that this performance in the Gasparilla wasn't as good, but think about it. She was close to very quick fractions up front, where they went 21-4, 44-3. So she was close to that, and the pace horses finishing well back in that field and still able to outlast the closers. The second place finisher, Lady Valor, coming from well back. So I thought a step in the right direction. Talking with co-owner Paul Braverman after that performance too, he said he would be open and would like to stretch her back out in distance. Obviously, everybody Kentucky Oaks dreaming, citing that the Sun Coast could be a possible next step for her, but ultimately citing that Saffie Joseph Jr., her trainer, would make the last decision. Greg?
Yeah, we'll see. The one time she did go a mile, sort of went backwards a little bit, but that was just the third start of her career for Tessellate. And for Drexel Hill, obviously, the big gun in that distaff division is gone now. Torpedo Anna is out. Obviously, if Drexel Hill's got to make an impact, it's going to need move forward quite a bit. But okay, starting point for the year.
She's going to have to get faster. Like we talked about, those figures going backwards. I think her Kentucky Oaks figure, as a 3-year-old sets her up to be moving in the right direction, but her numbers going backwards doesn't necessarily help her her argument for being in the mix of those kind of the best older female horses on the dirt.
Hope you enjoyed those races on our Saturday coverage. We're going to take a timeout. Outstanding trainer. All three have a huge case, including this man here, Brad Cox. Seems like year in, year out. 26 to 28% on the year. We'll lined up for another big 2026.
City of Light, multiple Grade 1 winner, who posted 7 triple-digit buyers, stands to continue the legacy of his sire, Quality Road, with graded stakes winners, Menti, Chop Chop, and Formidable Man, sire of multiple Grade 1 winner and champion 2-year-old Fierceness.
A powerhouse win.
City of Light, a proven sire in the making, standing at Lane's End Farm.
You bet with NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the NYRA Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the NYRA Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with NYRA Bets.
Say hi to our new stallion, Highland Falls. From his winning debut to that spectacular Jockey Club Gold Cup.
It is Highland Falls. He wins another one, this time the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
Even his buyer was high. The race his sire made his own by a widening 4 lengths. A host of Grade 1 winners far behind. High and goodbye. Running a 107 when second in an All-Star Whitney. The rise and rise of Highland Falls. High class. On the track and on the page. This is his dam, winning the Acorn and then the Distaff. Aim high. Breed to a well-bred son of Curlin. Highland Falls, new to Darley.
This winter, give the gift of racing with NYRA Bets gift card. Share your passion with friends and family or instantly fund your account. Choose the amount and redeem online. Find gift cards under the promotions tab at NYRABets.com.
John Gaines started this back in the 70s, had such stallions as Riverman, Sharpen Up, Bold Bitter, Leafard, Blushing Groom. I think our slogan says it best: power, passion, performance. We're looking to be a power in not only the breeding sector, but in the whole thoroughbred industry. You know, I think passion describes our team to the best. Mr. Beck and his family have owned this farm for almost 40 years. Brian Graves has been a part of this team for almost 20 years, myself here for 3 years, as we look to continue to grow. And I think performance describes our stallion roster perfectly, both at the racetrack and in the sales ring. And obviously, Tappet was a huge feather in the cap of the farm. He's done well for the last 20 years at stud. We have McKenzie with 5 Grade 1 stakes horses in his first crop. We have Drain the Clock and Olympiad with stellar sales results with our first crop yearlings. We were very excited this year. We brought 4 new stallions in. We had Grade 1 winner Tappet Trice, son of Tappet, another son of Tappet, Mandy Pope, homebred Charge It, Muth, son of Good Magic, only stallion retired this year in Kentucky that was a Grade 1 winner at 2 and 3, and followed it up with Preakness winner and Pennsylvania Derby winner Seize the Gray. We were very excited to have a son of Arrogate. We were a big believer in that stallion. We bred to him several times. We're bringing Grade 1 winner Locked, son of Gunrunner, into the stallion roster for 2026. Grade 1 winner at 2 at Keeneland. Grade 2 winner at 3, defeating older horses in the Cigar Mile. Grade 1 winner this year at 4. You know, Brian Graves, Anthony Beck, myself, and the rest of the team here, we look for these horses that are going to hopefully be breed shapers and trying to continue to grow the stallion roster here at Gainesway.
Back at it here on our Sunday coverage on Fox Sports 1, America's Day at the Races. Race 7 next here in New York. 13 minutes to post. In this $100,000 claiming race, 1-turn mile, there's Light the Way, Linda Rice. Kinder Carmouche, right now second choice. 3-1 on the board. And again, what looks to be a very evenly matched group. Let's go downstairs to Megan.
It is a puzzle and a very unique condition of that fact here in New York, as they are running for the $100,000 tag. Non-winners, of course, since July the 11th back in 2025. So is a unique condition, not typically written here. But this is a wide open group. You can make a case for almost every horse in this group. Lots of consistency. I'm actually pretty intrigued that the 4 is taking favoritism right now in Bromito, who I did land on, even though I did not find that this horse would be the favorite, but contending there. So coming off some efforts going longer, and I can understand why. I mean, he's a leggy individual, and he's carrying his weight and his condition very well. He looks great in his coat. No worse for wear as far as that wintertime-esque is considered, as sometimes horses can dull out a bit, but he looks great. And just overall, you know, he's a closer. And to me, when he gets into these longer extended route distances, sometimes he can make a little bit of room for himself, but I'm hoping he can be a little bit more involved and engaged as he was dating back to some of those wins. But last time out, we saw him in Saratoga win at 7 furlongs. He was just very impressive that day closing. And I just really like this type, being able to get back to this mile distance for a barn that we haven't seen have a runner since they're in August of last year, and is effective. Had a very nice year last year. 10 winners from just 31 starters, a small sample size there for the Shower Barn, who retains Yetsit Hazelwood, who's been doing incredibly well. So I found he was extremely interesting, but at the same time does not hold any true edge on this field, and one that does come from off of things. The opposite of that would be the number 6, Light the Way, for Linda Rice, who is speedy. He will be on the front end of things here, and I have no issues with him. He's running consistently strong figures, 2 back, exiting much tougher stakes foes against the likes of Bishop's Bay as he gets back to the mile. Off a nice sharpening there at 7 furlongs last time out, which I love for him. I love the way he's been managed. He looks great. I don't have any true issues with him. Just the fact that there are some others around him that have also proven to be ultra consistent. Greg, thought this was quite a fun feature here on this Sunday card.
It's a good group, too. Let's factor in this muddy track and maybe talk a little bit about, when we get an opportunity here, who might like it the best. But favorite right now remains Burmito. There's the one we both are attracted to, Dr. Kraft, especially at that price.
You talk about the racetrack, Dr. Kraft, one of the races I like the most for Dr. Kraft is when he was facing Doc Sullivan in his last race on a sloppy racetrack, on the racetrack right over our shoulders here at Aqueduct, and did it pretty impressively. Ran well, got a fast figure that day. Wasn't able to hold off Doc Sullivan, but Doc Sullivan would be a 1 to 100 in this race. The same as Bank Frenzy, who Dr. Kraft beat a couple races back. Look, it's a wide open race. I get it. There's a lot of other horses that can win, but for me, I think the 5, Dr. Kraft, makes a lot of sense at this big number.
Well, Like the Way did beat him head-to-head 3 starts back, but Dr. Kraft had some issues out of the gate that day, had a bit of a wide trip. So we'll get the rematch coming up this afternoon. But, I mean, this is just a good group, top to bottom. There's so many that seem like they factor in and can be a major player in this race. Burmito's taking a lot of play, and he should be, for Stephen Shower, who we had talked about last year in the program. Kind of a new face, and still, this 2025, 32% from limited starters. He's really just done great work with limited starters. So we get back to Tampa, race 7. 7 furlongs, non-winners of 2 life condition, all for sale for $8,000 as we look at the 2 here for Gustavo Anea.
Yeah, one that's been beaten pretty heavily in his last 4 starts.
Same price next door. The 3 Super Tiz for Michael Simone.
Yeah, but this one makes a little bit more sense to me, actually. Has some forward races, run well on the dirt.
Here's Battle Warrior at 4 to 1 for Michael Campbell, comes off a maiden win.
Yeah, did it last time for Maiden 10. These are all operating at the bottom. Hard to trust how good that race actually was.
A favorite next door. I thought he made a great appearance warming up. Here's Mongolian Champ.
Yeah, Mongolian Champ gets in a little bit light, too, carrying 111 pounds. Does have some back races that fit.
Trophy Collector. He was been in this condition for 3 consecutive starts and made very little impact.
You said it. Hasn't done much at this level. What's different today?
Devil of Ramadi, same story.
Yeah, this horse is 80 to 1, 72 to 1, 32 to 1, 19 to 1. I can keep going.
Principito, this one has a little bit of speed.
I can keep going here. 80 to 1, 84, 26 to 1. This horse just doesn't want to win at this level.
The 9 would have been a major player. That horse comes out. My Lucky Angel, here's the 10 for Gerald Bennett. Good barn.
Yeah, absolutely. Gerald Bennett wins a lot of races down in Tampa. Another one that doesn't have a lot of early speed, which is a concern in a race like this.
And profitability, better races have come at Finger Lakes.
Yeah, but, you know, you're right. But I think that the race 2 back is a little bit better than it looks, being stuck down on the inside speed. Being on the inside, not always where you want to be at Tampa Bay.
Let's go to Maggie.
Yeah, I do like what I'm seeing from number 5 in here. Your favorite Mongolian Champ, I thought ran well, did have the benefit of saving all the ground that day in a race that eventually collapsed. As we'll take a look at a horse, though, that finished just behind him in number 10, My Lucky Angel, as he's one that he was coming off a little bit of a layoff last time out, and he was the beneficiary of coming from well off of it and getting that pace to close into. But I thought he did show good late foot while rallying in and amongst horses. We'll get the other Sammy aboard today. Last time it was Sammy Marin. Today it's Sammy Camacho. But second off, just really caught my eye in the warm-up particularly, as just moving well, really animated in his stride, and Sammy warming him up like he wants to not allow this horse to get too far off of it and have to make up as much ground as you guys were mentioning. He pretty much naturally is one that doesn't show much early speed from the gate. I am really interested, though, I know, as you guys are having the discussion about being really excited about lower level claimers, but I really like number 3, Super Tiz, in here as he cuts back in distance. He does not look any part of a router at all. I know he's run okay at those distances in the past, but 2 back to his win at this 7 furlong distance, albeit in a maiden 10. So I think this is a realistic spot for him. And last time, going a mile and a 16th, he was incredibly wide into the first turn. He was post 12 of 12 that day. He was 3 wide on the backside, vying for the lead, and by the second turn made a move to the lead and understandably got tired. Now the second place finisher would come back with a 64 buyer to win, and a friend from Aqueduct won a race. The jockey, Richard Mitchell. I remember interviewing him. Had a lovely conversation with Richard as he is native Jamaican and has been riding for quite a long time. So a lot of experience for Richard. But I love what I'm seeing from this horse on the turn back and distance. Looks so healthy, very compact type of frame to him, and I think a much better post position this time around. Number 4, Battle Warrior. He's another one that broke his maiden for 10 last time out. As I said, it's a very logical spot. Third place finisher would come back and win, but went the 49 buyer, so a pretty slow pace, or a pretty slow race, I should say. I thought kind of won despite his rider last time out because he was very indecisive. He broke from the inside. There was another horse that broke better than he. He was taking back, then he was sending, then he was taking back, then he was sending, then he ultimately decided just to send, and the horse prevailed. So despite some maybe mismanaged cues, I thought the horse did it well and on his own, and I think is a logical contender in here, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you. Post time coming up. 4 minutes to post, by the way, in the 7th at Aqueduct. We'll get you back there shortly. But the 5 Mongolian Champ, who came from pretty far out of it, here at Tampa at this condition last start to just miss by a half length, was 11-1 that day, and based off that result, that price has evaporated.
Yeah, I mean, the horse makes sense, but a closer on the dirt at this level, not necessarily one I'm looking to take a short price on. I don't quite trust the 4 Battle Warrior off of that big performance going in the maiden 10. I'm having a hard time with this one. I suppose the 12. I don't love it, but I think the 12 from a price standpoint makes the most sense. I prefer the 10 over the 5, but I don't necessarily want the 10 as a favorite either. I guess I'll go 12. Don't like the 4.
Meanwhile, left-hand side of your screen, that 7th from Aqueduct, 3 minutes to post. That's noted from the rail for the Yokai Kantermachi barn. They also have Dr. Kraft, who we both like. That price is still 7-1. Not quite the 11-1, but I'm still shocked this horse is that number.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think we'll probably get a couple more clicks down. I'd say the horse probably goes off at 6-1-ish.
Jason Beam, the call at Tampa.
And the race is on. Profitability out wide is away cleanly. Battle Warrior between horses Devil of Ramadi is quick, and down along the inside, Super Tiz away in good order. It's going to be Devil of Ramadi between horses to go narrowly to the front. Battle Warrior to that one's inside, out wide. Profitability, those are the top three onto the main course. It's a break of a length and a half now, 2. Back to Loyal Clement, who's up into that 4th position. Super Tiz to that one's outside, and the blue is 5th. Then comes Trophy Collector, making up some ground toward the inside. Mongolian Champ, Principito to the outside, and it's 2.5 more. Back to My Lucky Angel, who's the early trailer here with a half mile to go. As Battle Warrior comes through to lead him through an opening quarter, 22.88 seconds. So it's Battle Warrior to the far turn. Devil of Ramadi to 3 wide. Profitability. Those 3 across the course now with just over 3/8 of a mile to go. That trio 2.5 ahead of Super Tiz in the blue colors, who's up to a clear 4th. Loyal Clements toward the inside. Pushed along Mongolian Champ between horses. Principito starting to gain out wide in the blue colors. Pink Cap from the back. My Lucky Angel starting to roll. It's going to be cast out about 5 or 6 wide though. Trying to come after the leader. Battle Warrior, who brings him around to the top of the stretch. Profitability. Super Tiz to the far outside. These 3 fan across the course. They're 2.5 ahead of My Lucky Angel, who continues to make up some ground from back and forth. Final furlong left to go. Super Tiz just in front of Profitability. Battle Warriors now back to 3rd. My Lucky Angel down the outside. Profitability, Super Tiz. Profitability on the inside. Super Tiz on the outside. They drive the wire. Super Tiz, I think, got it. It's close there with Profitability. My Lucky Angel after that.
Super Tiz, yeah, ekes that one out for the Michael Simone barn. Back to New York. And here comes our feature, race 7, 1 turn mile, this $100,000 optional claiming race. And the favorite here, he is Light the Way, 6-year-old for Linda Rice. Coming off a win at this level, that was at 7/8 of a mile, but has been pretty competent at this mile distance, 3 for 7.
Certainly has, and speed's such a weapon on a racetrack like this, you know, dirt racetracks in general, but a racetrack like this, and the 6 Light the Way definitely has that as well. I just can't get past this 5 and the price on the 5, Dr. Kraft.
Let's go down to Megan.
Well, I'd agree with you, JK, because I find he's a complete and utter overlay in this spot with the modicum of consistency that he is for the Cantor Mossy barn, and he's been training very well. He looks great in the flesh. He's a burlier individual that is a little shorter bodied, shorter framed as far as him physically and as an individual. That 7/8 mile certainly seems as his wheelhouse. I think the 9 furlongs 2 back was a little bit too far for this one, and he looked great. He's one that, as last out in a stakes effort, he set the pace that day and then got pressure from a very nice horse in Doc Sullivan, who just poured it on and romped late. Can certainly forgive him for that. He's coming out of stakes company. I mean, this horse to me is absolutely insane that he's 6-1 on the tote board right now. And if I could change my pick, probably would change it to him, obviously on paper. And before now, I landed on the 4 Bermudo and keeping to that. But I was impressed what I saw from him. He, like I mentioned, is kind of a compact individual, but he was quiet and unassuming in the paddock, but then he really got to the track and started moving along well. Find that he will be forwardly placed yet again and hopefully be able to sit that pocket trip and turn the tables on the likes of Light the Way, Greg.
All right, Megan, here we go. Loading up. Noted steps in as the biggest price on the board. 3 of them, the 2, the 4, the 6. Between 5-2 and 3-1, including this one here, crushed it. Mike Maker just claimed off of Fernando Abreu. Potentially back-to-back. Outstanding rider for Eclipse Award winner Flavien Prat. We'll see if he takes home another award a week from Thursday. He'll be on Crushed It. Favorite, the 6, Light the Way, and then Dr. Kraft has come down another notch, down to 6-1 for the Cantor Mossy barn. We're set for the 7th. Chris Griffin, the call.
Signator is in. All set. And they're off. Speed from Light the Way. Kendra Carmouche forwardly placed and right to the front. Light the Way will show the way. It's Light the Way who's trying to cross over in front of rivals. Light the Way wants to keep that lead. Exact Estimate is up on the outside. Is now a challenging second with Noted moving through at the rail. Is now going to take that second spot away. Tightly bunched in behind the leader. Light the Way. Who's up the backstretch now with Noted. Rails open. Wants to move on through. 3 wide is Exact Estimate. 4 wide is Signator. Patiently ridden is Dr. Kraft. Jamie Rodriguez is a well-settled 5th. And second to last will be Bramido with the trailer. Crushed It. They work up the backstretch and now Noted has taken it right to Light the Way. Noted, puts a head in front, Light the Way is now resisting that pressure, wants to fight on back and does, and puts a nose back in front as they approach a half mile left to go. It's been a nice journey for Dr. Kraft, just slipped on through towards the inside there, and Dr. Kraft is in third. Signators all in. Bramido's launching a rally. Yellow Silks and Bramido just ran by rivals quickly. Light the Way has taken the lead away from Noted, but Bramido looks like the main challenge right now. Following them, here comes Crushed It from way out of it. Crushed It is running up on heels, had a ton of momentum, just had to steady. They reach the top of the stretch through a 45.76 half-mile time. Bramido down to the inside is challenging a stubborn Light the Way. Crushed It trying to re-rally center of the racetrack is coming after the top duo. A furlong left to go. Light the Way is all heart towards the outside. Bramido is trying to push on by. Bramido to the inside. Light the Way. These two in a stubborn duel, but now Bramido edging clear. Bramido yets at Hazelwood. They'll get the victory. It's Bramido to win it. Then came Light the Way, a game second. Finishing third was Crushed It and Dr. Kraft at 1 minute 37.51 seconds.
Bramido up the inside for the win. Apprentice Yetsit Hazelwood continuing to impress here for trainer Steven Schauer, first off the claim.
Yeah, so horse that definitely figured in here. I would have said, though, based on what we've seen so far today, that run up the inside might not have been the best place to be, but Hazelwood and Bramido proved that wrong.
3-1. Goes off third choice. Putting away Light the Way for the victory. 4-6-2-5. And Bramido, who we talked about coming in, probably the most consistent runner in this group, at least recently. 7 wins now from 21 starts.
Yeah, I mean, the consistency at this level is definitely something you want to take into account. I don't have a problem with Bramido. I thought Dr. Kraft was going to run a little bit better. He was in a similar position to Bramido. But at some point, about the 3/8 pull on the turn, Bramido came up inside of him and was traveling much better. Bramido was definitely the best horse here today. Dr. Kraft, maybe a different scenario for him.
4-6-2-5. It's Bramido the win. 3-1. Mild upset. Certainly one of the main contenders. One of the prices when we come back. Champion 3-year-old filly. Should it be this one? Nitrogen. Sensational on the turf. Bold move to the dirt and looked even better when she did. Stay with us. Back with you on our Sunday coverage here on Fox Sports 1. Radio City Music. You ever seen the Rockettes over the holidays?
No, but I did see Dave Chappelle at Radio City.
Oh, nice. Would have loved to have seen that. Back with you with the 8th still to come, 7th in the books, and what a performance by Bramito, out-dueling Light the Way, the favorite for the victory up the inside. Yeah, so much for the inside not being good today. Yitzhak Hazelwood, this apprentice, turning heads finalist for the Eclipse Award as Outstanding Apprentice. Support for Steven Schauer.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's had an outstanding year, and look, he said that we talked about it earlier with Christopher Elliott and how he did so much of his winning in New York. Hazelwood said, well, wait a second, I might be a little late this year for New York wins, but here I come. Shows up here, wins the feature on Bramito. Very interesting to see what's going to happen with Hazelwood. If he's going to stay around, or is he going to head back down to the Mid-Atlantic, or is he going to be a New York guy moving forward?
Seems like he has the talent. We're starting to see him show up every now and again. $8.54 for the victory. Light the Way crushed it, complete that trifecta, but Bramito best for the 7th win of the 6-year-old's career. Close out the card here in New York with this New York bred $40,000 maiden claiming 6-furlong sprint. And Charlie Baker's Power of Women. Slight drop down in class with speed. Right now the one to beat.
Is it possible, Wolfie, to love a horse and a maiden 40?
If you loved one for maiden 12, then yes, it is.
I love the 3 in here. Same idea, really. Just a horse that has a lot of early speed, feels like should be able to take advantage of this group. He's probably better than. Yeah, I like Power of Woman, adding Lasix, lots of things going in the right direction.
Yeah, and I mean, looks like the speed of the speed, not as a first-timer in here, we'll see. A couple of them. But looks like the one who's going to be in front controlling. Let's talk Eclipse Awards once again. 3-year-old filly division. She was the best 3-year-old filly on turf the first half of the year. Nitrogen, it wasn't even close, really. And even though she got nailed by Fiona at Saratoga, she may have won the better race that day. It was close. She'd been brilliant on the grass, made that controversial move to try dirt, winds up winning to Alabama, and then runs huge runner-up finish in the Breeders' Cup Distaff.
Yeah, I mean, you want to reward a horse who's ambitiously campaigned, right? A horse that has won some graded stakes on the grass, won a race like the Alabama on the dirt. The face is older at Keeneland, and the fall shows up in the distaff. These are all things that you like to see from a champion. I've got no problem if Nitrogen takes this one home.
Let's bring in Maggie. Her thoughts on this 3-year-old filly division. She was, obviously not just, I think, deserving in here, but one of the great stories of 2025 as well, Maggie.
Yeah, absolutely. As I, again, think this division is a slam dunk to Nitrogen. She, in her dirt efforts, dominated in the 2 against the 3-year-old fillies and ran respectably well in the Spinster and the Breeders' Cup Distaff to be second with older rivals. So, to me, Nitrogen was the only horse who possessed consistency. Now, people are going to, oh, Maggie, she's so spicy. She was undefeated in America. Well, you're setting not a great precedent when you're making a 3-year-old champion filly a turf sprinter. I respect she's so spicy, but Nitrogen, she danced the big dances, whether it was turf or dirt in her age group, and even took on older rivals with some ability and class shining through. So for me, Nitrogen all the way, and takes home the Eclipse Award.
I mean, that is obviously a big of the bigs. Good Cheer had that early half of the year, but then didn't back it up second half of the year. And the second half of the year is, I don't even think it's arguable, is the more important part of the year. Wins the Alabama, huge. And then you got to take into consideration those grade 1s against older company, even though she didn't win, 2 runner-up finishes against older company in grade 1.
She ran 9 times in stakes races, which is pretty impressive. She won 6 of those races. She won the Alabama. She won a graded stakes on the grass. She was never worse than second. I mean, there's a lot to like.
Yeah. seems like a slam dunk. It seemed like after the Kentucky Oaks, a slam dunk, that Good Cheer was going to wind up being your Eclipse Award winner in this category. The way she started off the year, absolutely perfect, undefeated. She was 7 for 7, going back to her beginning of her 2-year-old campaign. But then after the Kentucky Oaks, her next 3 starts, she did not win again, including a beat against Nitrogen in the Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, you laid it out there, right? I mean, she had a good early part of the year. That's what makes the Kentucky Oaks and the Kentucky Derby so much fun, is that, you know, you're getting these horses that, as a 3-year-old, early in their 3-year-old year, able to perform at such a high level. But she didn't really train on to be in the same league as a horse like Nitrogen, what she was able to do.
So what's the plan for Good Cheer going into this year? Let's hear from trainer Brad Cox.
You know, physically, she developed a good bit with the time off, which that's what we wanted to see. You know, physically, she's just bigger, stronger. She's here right now just jogging a couple miles, moving very, very well. Happy with how she's moving, how she physically looks, and we'll gradually start picking up her training over the next few weeks. And, you know, the goal would be to get to the Breeders' Cup Distaff and pick off some Grade 1s along the way, and excited about getting her back. And you know, it's great that Godolphin's willing to race a filly that's as accomplished as she is and try to win some Grade 1s with her this year.
Great to see the big names come back. We'd love to see more from her, and we'll see if she can maybe continue to develop. And maybe we've not seen the best from her yet.
No, I mean, I always make the comparison to horses like Gunrunner and Frosted. They were good 3-year-olds, but they ended up being sensational 4-year-olds. Allowing these horses to grow up a little bit can go a long way, and maybe Good Cheer just needed to grow up a little bit. And you know, I'm excited to see her back.
A week from Thursday, those Eclipse Awards, you're going to be getting an award as well.
A little bit, yeah, vicariously.
Part of that Belmont on Fox Eclipse Award-winning program for Best Live Production. We have the finale coming up next from New York. 15 minutes to post in the 8th. Stay with us.
$1,650,000 anybody else want $650,000 bid today, $1,650,000 $1,600,000, thank you.
You bet with NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the NYRA Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the NYRA Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with NYRA Bets.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you.
Back with you, live look, South Ozone Park, New York, in New York City's racetrack. Final few months of it before we make our permanent move to Belmont Park.
Did you negotiate?
Beautiful new facility.
Did you get us an office?
I did. I mean, I'm more looking out for you. I haven't taken care of myself yet.
Okay.
But I got you a view on the top floor. You're taken care of.
Thank you. Appreciate that. You can come by anytime you want.
Thank you, buddy. Maiden claimer, New York Breds, to close it out here at 6 furlongs. Still Power Women's Speed of the Field, the favorite. New York bred program opening doors for broodmare owners. See what's inside America's richest state-bred program. Iconic race meets at Saratoga, the newly reimagined Belmont Park. Set to, of course, open this fall. New York sired bonuses at NYRA tracks and a world-class stallion roster in 2026 that combines blue blood genetics with rich purses and awards for the ultimate New York sired advantage. Go to nytbreeders.org to learn more. So 8-5 on the likely speed of the field, who in start number 3 is facing probably the easiest company she has met yet, although my Divine One was not far behind her when they met last start.
When you look at the 3 Power of Woman, her debut, she took a little bit of money, ran well enough, figure-wise. Obviously she was beaten pretty heavily, but ran well enough that day at a short price. Then she comes back, runs against Claimers, is bet that day, gets blinkers for the first time, and actually runs pretty well. Just runs into a really good horse, probably not a maiden 50 type in Admiral Saul, right? Probably more of a maiden special weight type that they snuck by. Now gets the Lasix, also has the blinkers, and drops in for 40 and even a little bit lower in an even softer spot.
There's a lot to like, but you also have someone next to her in the 2 that took a little bit of money in a state-bred maiden special, hit the board in that race, and that was at Saratoga.
Yeah, I saw that one.
And the winner came back to win again.
The problem is the figure didn't come back all that quick, but like we talked about a little bit earlier in the show, these 3-year-olds,
by the way.
2-year-olds turning 3 for the first time, they get to use Lasix. So probable angle, the 2 gets Lasix for the first time, and maybe Lasix goes a long way for the 2 probable angle.
So start number 2, after a state-bred maiden special weight at Saratoga, coming up for this one. And right now she's 3-1 on the board. Back to Tampa. Race 8, 6.5 furlong sprint, the $6,000 claiming race, and here's the 1, Lady Dominance.
Yeah, Lady Dominance on the inside does not have any early speed. You'd like to see something from the inside.
9-2 next door. This is Olga coming off a win against non-winners of 1 in a year.
Yeah, comes in off a trainer change into a barn that doesn't have the greatest numbers.
Pola of Trouble. Huge price, 3 for 30 lifetime.
Yeah, she's been over 22-1 in her last 5 starts. I don't see it.
Cuts back in distance. Bramble Bush has a start 2 back at Tampa that figures in here.
I liked the race last time, too, a little bit, closing into a slow pace. I think this one's sneaky on the cutback.
Wheeling and Dealing. Sammy Marin taking support.
Yeah, hasn't done much running. Did okay 3 races back on a sloppy racetrack.
Deserving favorite in this one, taking a big drop and has speed.
Yeah, I don't love the last race, actually. I thought the figure was a little bit light. But the race 2 back absolutely wins this one.
Waterworks next door, 6-1 on this 8-time winner. We continue to look here at race to the finish. Here's the 7.
I thought it was a 4-leaf clover that's good luck. Those silks have 3-leaf clover. What do I know?
I think you're right. Mount Doro. Tim Hambarn beat pretty decisively by Wheeling and Dealing, Exclusive Exchange. And then here's the 10 Wild Delight. Somewhere out there.
Yeah, Wild Delight's been running a lot on the synthetic. We saw earlier in the meet, the horses that have been running on the synthetic have run well when they got to the dirt at Tampa. The problem is Wild Delight already tried that, and it didn't go great.
And there, I believe that's the 11 there behind that palm tree. A huge effort last time out. Where did it come from? It was a huge step forward. But if she could do that again, she's a big player here.
I had to read that about 20 times before I recognized that it said, shoop, there it is. Get it? Like, whoop, there it is?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Maggie gets it.
And the 12, by the way, Pizzicato, 28-1 on the outside. Let's go to Maggie.
You stole my thunder, JK. I was totally going to reference that. As we'll get to Shoop, there it is, in a moment. But let's check in with the horse that is likely to be your post-time favorite in number 6, Race to Finish. Well, to the finish. She's kind of raced to finish in her recent start, as I thought she had an easy lead last time. The pace did come apart a bit. I suppose you could make that excuse that maybe she ultimately went too fast, but she just looked comfortable out there. But a race 2 back dominates this. I just don't like the way she looks. I probably put her right in the winner's circle, but she just has that long, drab coat to her. And she is a 9-year-old mare, and her record's respectable in that, you know, she's almost won 1/3 of her starts. So that's pretty darn good. Like I said, I guess she can win, but as a favorite, I just wish she looked better. As we'll check in with number 4, Bramble Bush. As you guys are making a case for her, I can see it as well, as she'll turn back in distance, and honestly, she looks like she wants to sprint. I know she's run okay going longer, but that was more or less you know, in better races on the turf. So I think this distance, 6.5 furlongs, should be A-okay for her coming in off of the claim. Number 2, Olga. I know, maybe as of late, hasn't run the best races, won that, you know, pretty broad condition of non-winners of a 1 in a year, but did it the right way. And furthermore, she does have some back class to lean upon overall. So I just thought she looked as though she was doing very well and could be a player in here. Another one coming in first off of a claim. And then, yeah, let's talk about Shoop. There it is. Because, Greg, I'm glad you mentioned that the last race was a big step forward. Where did it come from? I don't know. It's not like she was coming off of a layoff or making some sort of significant change. She'd been running in the same condition. Equipment's the same, whole 9 yards. But as she is a New York bred, I've seen her in the past up in the Big Apple. She's never looked this good. She's never carried the weight and conditioning that she has. Obviously, I haven't seen her as of late, but maybe she is on the right path. I don't love her as a win candidate here, but maybe one that could grab a piece of this, as she is a generous 10-1.
We should ask Maggie as we threw it to her, does she know who recorded the song? Whoop, there it is.
My prediction is that she would have got it right.
I think she would have too. But she's not asking back in right now.
She obviously has a good memory. She remembers if a horse, you know, looked thin or fit from 3 years ago. She might know this. Huh? She's not coming back.
Not asking back in, so I assume no. Said she would not have got a tag team. I had to look it up myself. 2-1 favorite, race to the finish. Looks like the speed of the field. This is a 9-year-old mare, though, the 6. Getting up there in age, has won 12 times. As you said, that speed figure came back pretty light for her, but that was against a lot better company, too.
Right, but the 2 race back was really good. And you just have to identify whether or not you believe it, because it was one of her best races of her life. I just don't trust it at a short price. You know, that's really the thing here, when you're dealing with these kind of lower-level types. You're going to have a horse. Someone has to be favored. But are they favored for the right reason, or are they favored by default? The 6, to me, feels more like a by default.
And by the way, the next race on the grass to close things out, I thought a massive, massive standout in that 5 furlong turf sprint. Rez's Rolex.
Really? I was going to say a different one.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I like Rez's Rolex quite a bit, especially with a horse that has some speed, but I wouldn't ignore Dark Vintage.
Yep, player.
But I prefer a speed type.
That's still to come. That's going to be a good one. 5 furlongs on the grass in race 9 at Tampa. You look at, is there anyone who could put pace pressure on the 6 here? There's not a ton of speed in here, is there?
No, but the big full field and a bunch of kind of like young types, you know, a horse like the 10 Wild Delight can run a little bit. You know,
there's more route speed, though, no? Yeah, I guess a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, but, you know, it's a situation where, you know, someone's going to send aggressively. Yeah, you're right. I mean, the 6 definitely has the edge there. But still, even then, is that enough to get the 6 home?
2-1 favorite right now. This 9-year-old mare looking for the 13th victory of her career, should be leading the way early. For the Scott Becker barn, Jason Beam with the call.
8. Bramble Bush coming up. Wild Delight to gate 10. The final 3 runners, Wheeling and Dealing. Shoop, there it is. And Pizzicato going to be the final 3. Late double time here at Tampa Bay Downs. The sun's starting to poke out after some showers earlier on. Seemed like we missed the most of the rain this afternoon, which was good news. Pizzicato to the outside to complete the line. Goes in. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Race to the finish in the center showing good speed. Bramble Bush is just as quick. Those two 1-2. And joining them to the outside is Waterworks. It is going to be race to the finish now to go a length in front of Waterworks in joint second, along with Bramble Bush to the inside. Length and a half more then, back to Wheeling and Dealing, who's in the all-green colors, racing along in the 4th spot. It's a length and a half more back to Olga, who moves inside of Wild Delight. Then a gap of 2 to Mount Dioro. Pizzicato's outside of that one, racing along in 8th. Another length to Shoop, there it is in 9th. Then it's a big gap, 7 or 8 back to Lady Dominance and Pole of Trouble. 22.85 seconds, the opening quarter mile. So this battle up top continues. Bramble Bush now back ahead in front of Race to the Finish on the outside. Those two trading punches on the front end. They're a length in front of Wheeling and Dealing, who now loops up 3 deep to come after them. Waterworks comes under a drive from the 4th spot, has fallen 3 lengths behind. Then comes Wild Delight and Olga as they stack up 3 across the course to the top of the lane. Bramble Bush on the inside. On the outside, Wheeling and Dealing. Race to the Finish now drops a length and a half back in 3rd. Wheeling and Dealing on the outside goes to the lead. Wheeling and Dealing to the 8th pole. 3/4 of a length, now a length in front. Down on the inside, Bramble Bush is second. 3 more to race to the finish, but a final 16th to go. Wheeling and Dealing and Samuel Marin in front. Wheeling and Dealing going to go on to win it here. Give Samuel 3. Another training win for Michael Simone. They won it by 3 in the end. Bramble Bush was second. 3rd went to Mount Dioro.
Yeah, Michael Simone back-to-back. And a big day, as you heard, from Sammy Marin. As we take you back to New York for the nightcap. And there is the speed of this field. Power of Women, the 6-5 favorite.
Yeah, I like Power of Women quite a bit in here for, a lot of different reasons we've talked about. Has a lot of speed. 3rd off a break, should move forward off of that. Taking money in all 3 starts, gets Lasix for the first time, all 2 starts, 3 starts now with this one. Gets Lasix, lot to like. I'll take the 7-5.
2's closed the gap, though, a little bit off that one start at Saratoga. Back as a 2-year-old, 3-year-old debut coming up with a 2 probable angle. Well, you're set for the finale on this Sunday card from New York. Let's go to Chris Griffin.
Ishkabibble goes in. All set. 8th and final. And they're off. Awkward beginning for my first Dinah. Speed towards the inside from Power of Women. Forwardly placed right to the front with pressure from the outside. Quinn's Silent Roar. At the rail comes Probable Angle, is now a close-up 3rd, as shoved along as My Divine One by Savachi trying to keep up Ishkabibble, and then comes my first Dinah, the trailer, Fiona's Joy. They approach 4 furlongs left to go, and Power of Women is in command, 22 and 4 for that opening quarter mile. Quinn's Silent Roar within a neck of the leader. My Divine One starts to make up ground, is now a challenging 3rd, is to the outside of Probable Angle, is down towards the inside. That's the leading 4. Ishkabibble trying to get going, and my first Dinah is in the purple silks and the trailer, Fiona's Joy. They're approaching a quarter mile left to go, and here's Quinn's Silent Roar, who's got the lead. My Divine One up alongside towards the outside. At the inside, Probable Angle starts to make up some ground, and now Probable Angle has got the momentum and sprinting away. Probable Angle is now up by 3.5, 4 lengths with a furlong left to go. My first Dinah, big long shot, the firster, is making up some ground on the far outside. Probable Angle inside the final 16th, and Probable Angle, Julio Hernandez, they win the finale. My first Dinah up for second, then came My Divine One, and Quinn's Silent Roar in 1:13.34 seconds.
Probable Angle start, number 2, 3-year-old debut, and the victory with Julio Hernandez aboard.
Yeah, I mean, you were right. I mean, the horse took some money this summer at Saratoga, maiden special weight. Wasn't able to get it done that day, but ran well enough, and now shows up back here off of a little bit of time off, drops in class, finds their friends, and runs away from them. Probable angle, and gets Lasix for the first time. Keep an eye on that early in 2026 for 2-year-olds turning 3, getting back on Lasix, or getting Lasix for the first time.
A 44-1 shot, by the way, underneath. My first Dyna of the 8 in second. First-time starter. 2.857 in this finale. Had a peek back from Hernandez and well clear.
No, he did. He took a little peek back just to see what was behind him, see if anything was coming, and there wasn't anything there. So a beautiful situation for a rider to take a peek back and not see anything.
So 5-2 to close things out here in New York. Still have the finale to come from Tampa. We're going to take a timeout, and we'll see this man with a contender in that finale. What a year it's been for Jose D'Angelo. She's So Spicy beating the boys in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. We'll have his story when we come back. Back with you on our Fox Sports 1 coverage. You're watching America's Day at the Races. New York card in the books, with Probable Angle closing things out with a decisive victory here for the 3-year-old debut and start number 2.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got to try to get these horses to the winner's circle the best way you can. A lot of times, you know, you have high hopes for a horse like the 2 Probable Angle, show up on a day at Saratoga and be 7-1 in a maiden special weight. And then you got to try to be realistic. Well, you know, where do we actually fit? You come back in a spot like this, you know, in the winner, in a maiden 40, and you win like this. You get the picture taken, and there's nothing wrong with that. A horse that looks like they might have a little bit of a future to win some more races, depending on the condition.
Yeah, when's this one? convincingly here. Again, a 44-1 shot. Well behind in second. My Divine One in third. And then Quinn's Silent Roar to complete the top four. 2.857 finish as we touch down here with our card in the books for this week's action at Aqueduct. And we got a good one, as we mentioned, coming up on the grass at 5 furlongs to close things out at Tampa.
Yeah, you know, I saw that plane coming in. The first time I actually ever came to Aqueduct was a JFK layover. It's so close. You know, I landed at JFK. I took a little cab over here. I think I played a pick 3 and then hustled back. And I did not win.
Okay.
But it was fun.
Would have been a little more memorable had you won. Probable angle, $7.66. I mean, when our days are gone here, and it's not in the too distant future here, I really am going to miss it. I mean, I love this racetrack. I think the best views of watching a race live anywhere in the country. If you go outside and sit in these seats, you're able to watch a race as a fan and get a better view here anywhere in the country. It's incredible. Obviously, it's seen better days, and we're excited about Belmont Park, but I'm just hopping off the subway and walking across the street here. It's been a lot of fun coming here over the years.
But I feel the same way about certain sporting venues that you go to that are historic, right? They've seen better days.
Yeah.
But the history of these establishments are what make them what they are, right? You know, a lot of people have had some of their greatest memories in racing here at Aqueduct, and it's very, very close to the biggest, greatest city in the world, and that goes a long way as well too. So I've been looking forward to it. I want to be here on closing day.
Yeah. Been to a closing day at a racetrack before, and it's great to see everybody come out and sort of celebrate what that track's given you all, but it's a little bit sad as well.
Hollywood Park?
Hollywood Park closing day, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It's very similar, though. Big city, racetrack with a lot of history.
Yeah.
Probably seen it's better. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
all these things. Yeah, no, it'll be a special day for a lot of people, I would imagine.
I want to say June 28th.
I believe that's
might
right.
be the final day. So mark it in your calendar. Obviously, double check that, but I believe that is it. Race 9 at Tampa, 5 furlongs on the grass. Allowance optional claiming field. To close things out, it's a good group that's going to line up. I had mentioned earlier, I thought going to be incredibly difficult to beat Reza's Rolex, and right now that one at even money, but Jose D'Angelo with Gabaldon, 7-1, certainly a contender, comes in off a win on a race that was taken off the turf last time out, but is a winner on the grass. Well, in a sport where consistency at the top is hard to come by, Jose D'Angelo has become one of the fastest rising stars in the sport. Based in South Florida, D'Angelo has built a national reputation with graded stake success across the country and a high percentage barn of rising stars.
Since I was a child, I always loved the horses. More than all the sports, more than everything. My father and my mother told me, like, when they go to pick up me, the teacher say, hey, can we talk with you guys? Your kid put all the chairs in order and sit all his friends, and he say, and they're off. In 2012, I was in the university. One friend owns some horses, and I say, Jose, can you train them? Say, of course I can, but you know, I'm studying right now, so I don't have plan to be a trainer. I had the conversation with my father, he support me. I can't finish my university because I started getting so many horses, and you know, I'm doing that I love. I came from a horseman family. My father was trainer in Venezuela. Now, thanks him, we make a good team here. We have a good operation that everybody work with love. When we win a race, it's not me, it's all my crew, all the guys, all the horses. When you run a race, the people see just the race, but the people don't see all the steps that you do, all the obstacles and the problems that the horse can have, because they are athletes that work hard every day. I claim a lot of horses, and we won so many good races with them. Jesus' thing. Everybody call him different, but you understand, he speaks English and Spanish. So I drive Jesus' team from Momot to here to Saratoga to run the Gin Dandy. You know, we ran all the big races, and always good. He had a bit hard. He always show up, and I'm so proud and happy and blessed to train at him. Going to Royal Ascot was was successful experience. Was so amazing. Was like a movie be there. I thought we got the race, but was so close. We lost by half leg. Was tough beat. It's tough game. Like you lose more than races that you won. So I always try to stay positive and take the right decision for the horses and for me. The goal of every horseman and everybody is go and run the Derby, but more than the Derby, I would like to just try to win at the top level all the races that I can. Yes, I'm proud for sure. I feel good to stay winning races, but I still hungry. I want to go and win more.
Well, he's starting to make a lot of noise as a trainer. In that feature, you saw, went to Royal Ascot with a horse, ran second the Windsor Castle, and that's the horse who's going to run in this race coming up. Gabaldon, the 9, and there is the 9. Second, beat a length in the Windsor Castle, and just the second start, I believe, of his career. And we'll see. This horse faced Reza Rolex 2 starts back and was a runner-up, but on a different surface, on synthetic.
No, I mean, it still, that kind of strength of schedule a little bit. But the one thing I'll say after watching that with Jose D'Angelo is, I was actually at the Breeders' Cup. I was in a suite that was directly behind Jose, and so he had won with She's So Spicy, and then right in the next race, he had to hustle to the paddock to get there for Ben Tornado. And then he wins back-to-back. So not only did he win 2 Breeders' Cup races, not only did he win his first and his second, he won them quite literally back-to-back in that situation, and he was ecstatic. His family was ecstatic. It was fun. I think he's one of the great young trainers that we have in this game, and so I know that's a little bit of a diversion away from Reza Rolex, but I do think
look,
that
we're talking about him
all in the same family. I think this. Yeah.
He's a great story. Look, She's So Spicy beating the boys in that Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. She's a finalist for Champion 3-year-old filly. Probably not going to win that award, but that was a huge accomplishment. Ben Tornado likely is going to win that award for an outstanding sprinter.
But get a turf sprinter to break into a category, just like Cy Fair breaking into the category of the 2-year-old filly champion. She's So Spicy was outstanding last year. And to be able to do what she did, and to be fair, this race was over very quickly. She popped away from there, She's So Spicy did, in this Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. See Jose D'Angelo right there in the bottom right of your screen. Impressive. Very, very impressive, She's So Spicy, to be able to do what she did.
Yeah, even to be a finalist as a turf sprinter, you had an incredible year.
Absolutely.
Jose D'Angelo making a lot of noise. One of the certainly rising stars in this sport. We'll see how his runner-up in the Windsor Castle can do in this finale from Tampa. Stay tuned.
Bright future indeed. Bright future, the son of Curlin to win by 4. Bright future, Proxy, here's the line. Photo finish, Bright future.
Bright future, look at that. Bright future, the class prevails.
Bright future, standing at Claiborne Farm.
And it's lights out. Locked. Pouring it on. Running aggressively through the stretch to win by 7 easy lengths.
Here is Locked. Locked racing by on the outside for the lead. Locked, the wine steward, it is Locked.
Here comes Locked after Mulligan. Locked catching with every single stride, and Locked will win the Cigar Mile.
It's all about Locked, dominating the big cap, cruising home to an effortless 8-length romp.
This winter, give the gift of racing with NYRA Bets gift card. share your passion with friends and family, or instantly fund your account. Choose the amount and redeem online. Find gift cards under the promotions tab at NYRABets.com.
In its 97th season, Tampa Bay Downs has plenty of history. Today, there are many new things to see and do, and perhaps most importantly, the track's racing surfaces have become a big draw for owners and trainers looking to find the winner's circle.
I'm not gonna lie, the turf course is beautiful. And when we started training, me and my wife, we had horses that were turf horses, and we needed to spend the winter somewhere. So we give it a go, and we really enjoy the place, the atmosphere, and the fact that horses winter very well.
Well, as you can see, everybody comes here to run on the turf, get their horses ready for going north. And the dirt track is, when you leave here, you can pretty well win at any track. The horses get legged up good here, and it's a very safe track.
We just want to give our horses enough foundation and experience to be able to obviously go to bigger meets, meaning Kinlan, New York, and you know how tough that can be. And we feel that Tampa is the right place to do so.
There are several places to enjoy all of that great racing, with new stadium seating in the grandstand, covered cabanas on the first floor, and the veranda, which gives your group the best seat in the house, directly across from the winner's circle. There's more fun to be had next door at the Downs Golf Practice Facility, which was launched in 2003.
We offer a fully stocked pro shop. We carry about 9 different brands of apparel, clubs, golf balls, gloves, you name it. Full short game area. You can actually bet the horses inside of our pro shop. We like to call ourselves the only driving range where you can bet horses and play golf in the same day at the same location. You know, joining the golf with the racetrack for families is perfect. You know, you can come over here, hit some golf balls, and then go have some lunch over at the track and play the horses. And there's obviously a lot of stuff to do over there for kids as well. So it's a perfect place.
Fans can also experience the Silks Poker Room on the 3rd floor with a variety of high-stakes games and tournament competition. Whatever you're looking for on race day, you can find it at Tampa Bay Downs.
The word is approachable, both as a fan and as an owner. Everybody that you run into wants you to be here. You have a real connection to the people, and I'm talking from the racing office all the way down to concessions. So it's just a great place to be an owner. It's a great place to train horses. It's probably the best surface in the country, and there's no better place to be in the winter.
It's a terrific racetrack. It's on my bucket list of one I need to get to that I've not yet visited. And glad we're able to bring you this coverage. Maggie Wolfendale, she's done a great job working solo all weekend long. Let's get back to her for this finale. And your thoughts on Reza Rolex, who looks imposing here.
Yeah, he does. He wasn't what I was expecting, though, Greg. You know, oftentimes with these very quick turf sprinters, I just say balls of energy. And I mean that literally and figuratively. They literally kind of look like balls usually. They're very round types, compact, and have a lot of energy, and he's just not that type. He's kind of your atypical turf sprinter overall. He looks fantastic here for Joe Orsino. There's no doubt about that. But he also will have to deal with several other speed types. Now, he has one from just off the pace, and at the end of the day, he's a total win machine, having never finished worse than second only 2 times in his career. So he needs to be respected and makes a great impression. Just not the impression I was necessarily expecting as I have observed him for the first time. Number 9, Galvadon, as we saw for Jose D'Angelo, brought him around the world and nearly got the job done in the Windsor Castle Stakes as a 2-year-old, and has come back and proven that it's not a fluke. Sometimes you get those early 2-year-olds and they don't go on. It feels as though he has, albeit against some state-bred company, dominating his last start in an off-the-turf Tapeta win. I like him, obviously, getting back to a turf sprint, looking for his first win on the surface since his debut, but he's really matured nicely. Physically, overall, he's grown, he's lengthened in his frame, he presents himself well, nicely on the bridle here, really well turned out for Jose. So I think he is an interesting player in here, but he too does have speed. He at least gets the advantageous spot of breaking from the outside to see what the other pace horses may do. Now, one that doesn't need the lead, that's for sure. Things could set up nicely for him. It's what I like. We'll go first off the claim here for Scott Becker in number 3, Dark Vintage. Greg, he makes an excellent impression. And I know he comes off a little bit of a layoff after a defeat, albeit at Hawthorne, but there's some back class with this guy, and he looks like your typical turf sprinter. Just has a great energy to him as well. So I like what I'm seeing from Dark Vintage.
Maggie, thank you. We're up to the 4 right now. Here's Big Louie for Stephen Dye.
Yeah, Big Louie is a big price as well.
Speed from the 5, but he's been off since October of 24.
Yeah, he hasn't run in a while, but he has some back races that could be problematic for the favorite.
Esperon, he's got some ability, blinkers on.
2 back, his pace figures. 3 back, his pace figures could absolutely make some noise in this race.
Code name went by, and here's the favorite at 6-5. He's won 8 in a row.
8 in a row, Wolfie, and he's 6-5. I would call that a little chilly on the board.
Yeah, that's strange to see him holding up above even money. Here's the one who was the runner-up in the Windsor Castle at Royal Ascot as a 2-year-old.
Just needs to get a little bit faster. I trust in the trainer, but the figures are a little bit light.
Crumlin Lad went by. Here's the 11 also eligible. Draws in Me Dinero.
Yeah, no Dinero for the 11 today.
Why is it Reza Rolex holding up at this price right now, do you think?
I don't know. A lot of the big performances, the big numbers have been on synthetic, right? There's only been 1 turf race out of that 8-race win streak. So I think that probably has a little bit to say with it. The 9's going to take a little bit of money. The 3's going to take some money into the teeth of what the 8 is. Gabladon obviously has a lot of class based on what we've seen from that one, but the numbers are a little bit light.
Well, standing by with a trainer of the favorite. Let's go back to Maggie.
That's right, Joe Orsino joining me here trackside, and Reza Rolex. Joe, what a win machine. It's so awesome to have horses like this.
He's so much fun. He's obviously a barn favorite, and I traveled up here today for him, so he deserves it.
I told my producer, I was like, Bobby, he wasn't here yesterday and he had a win, but boom, here you are.
Yeah, like I said, he's such a joy and everybody loves him. So, and again, what's not to like? 8 in a row and 10 out of 11, so he's just so honest. He tries every single time.
Now, there does feel as though there's some other pace in here, but he's shown the ability to come off of it. Is that the game plan today?
There's some speed, yes. I'm familiar with a couple of them. The Hope in Him I used to have, and his brother's right next to him, and they're both very fast. Right. So, yeah, the plan is kind of like lay off of them and stay on the outside of them.
Well, wishing you the best of luck with him, and thanks for talking with us.
Oh, no, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, with a horse like him, I'm sure it absolutely is. Greg?
It's a great way to close out our coverage here. 8 wins in a row. Reza Rolex, 12 for 16 lifetime. 2 runner-ups as well. Just incredibly consistent. And I know you said that the speed figure dropped off a little bit last time out. He's primarily a synthetic horse. 10 for 13 on synthetic. It was just his 2nd start ever on grass last time out. Thoroughgraph had his number just as fast as his fastest synthetics numbers in that win on turf last out.
The problem is, I think, is that if you're looking at this horse, you're looking at you're wondering why he's 6-5 and if you want to try to beat him. I think that the conversation starts with, look, he's won 8 in a row. 7 of those have been on synthetic. Today's race is not on synthetic. It's back on the turf. And last time the horse ran extremely well on the turf. Also, when you look through those races on the synthetic, you're going to notice that, six of them? 6 of those 7 wins, the horse was odds on. He's supposed to win. I just don't think this horse is proven to be this unbeatable type of horse. That's all.
See if he can get number 9 coming up. Sounds like he's not. So where would you wind up Obviously, you talked about a few options in here, but where are you ultimately going to go?
I'd land with a 3 dark vintage because I think, and listen, I am allergic to closers and turf sprints. Absolutely allergic. There's nothing I dislike more, other than people who are like behind you in a row on an airplane, and when you get up to get off, they try to get off in front of you.
That's the worst.
I like those people less than I like closers and turf sprints. But the 8 and the 9 just look like they absolutely are going to stare each other in the eye all the way around there and set up very nicely for a horse like the 3 is going to be sitting right in behind him. I call those aisle jackers. I trademarked it.
Do you usually speak up?
No, I just aggressively
just give him a look.
Hold the space, or I say, "Oh my gosh, you're going to get off of the plane 13 seconds before me." So I'm passive aggressive how I handle that.
Yep. Need to wait your turn. It's the unwritten law. Get a 10% bonus on exactas at Tampa. Got to opt in. Your last opportunity to do that right now. 3 minutes to post here in this finale.
Well, I got 3 minutes. It'll only take me about 45 seconds. Which
so
is about
if you were putting together an exacta in this race, you like the 3? Would you the 8 the one you use underneath?
Yeah, I would play it. Honestly, I would play it. It's a great question, actually. I would play it 8-9 with 3, and 3 with 8-9. I would play the 3 with 8-9 for a little bit more. Say
It's actually so 3-8 is coming back $12 for $1. 3-9 is coming back $28 for $1.
Yeah, the key is it's really a glorified place wager on the 3. 3 with 8-9, 8-9 with 3.
Let's go back to Maggie.
On the 3 as well as the aisle jackers, I give them the death stare, and it's even worse when you have children. Sometimes I kind of use them as I don't want to say pawns, but placeholders. I'm like, get in the aisle, Grace, stand there. Anyway, as we'll take a look here at number 10, Crumlin Ladd. He's never run this short on the turf before, but I'm okay with it, honestly. Physically, he's not one that has that long, lanky frame that you're worried that he's not going to be quick enough to keep in contact with this field. And obviously, he has speed going a little bit longer than this, so he should be A-okay. But he's really, I liked him in the paddock. I liked him even more watching the warm-up, just really moving well out there for Michael Wright and Jesus Castanon. So I like what I'm seeing from Crumlin Ladd, even though this might be on the shorter side for him, as we'll also take a look here at Hope and Him. As Joe Orsino rightly pointed out, we have full brothers running in this race. Hope and Him is the elder. He's a 7-year-old, as Aspiron is the 5-year-old. Hope and Him, though, has only won races on the synthetic. So he's looking for his first win ever on the turf. I don't know often what to make of that. He's been in some tough races when he's been on the turf. He does look incredibly fit, though, considering he's coming in here off of a, 15-month layoff. Look, it's not easy to have one fit off of that kind of layoff, but it's also turf sprinting, where they don't need to be 100% fit. He's made a really nice impression considering the time away. I don't know how much of a chance he has here, as he's a massive price, but I did think that was cool, and thanks for Joe to point that out to us here on the program.
All right, Maggie, thank you. Even money now. So Rudz's Rolex has clicked down another notch. Trying to win a 9th in a row. But that 5, who was just on our screen, is going to be a thorn in the side of both the 8 and the 9. The 6, Esperon, with speed as well. Now blinkers going on. There's plenty of speed in here.
Yeah, but the 5 is a 34-1 thorn in the side. A lot of times they go away a lot quicker than you need them to. You're not going to put too much pressure. Even between the 8 and the 9, the public will fall in love with all the 1s and not recognize that 7 of those were on the synthetic. I would prefer the 9 here, who's drawn outside of the 8. Between those two, I'm typically the type that only wants speed types in turf sprint. So if you're in that mode right now, I would prefer the 9 based on price, based on draw, based on back class. I would prefer the 9 over the 8. But I think that I'm going to stick with my top choice in here of the 3. And like I said, you play this exacta 3 with 8-9, 8-9 with 3. And depending on how you feel about it, the reason you do it that way and not a box is if you play a 3-8-9 box, you're giving away a lot of equity on the 8 and the 9 when your opinion, or my opinion, is the 3. So I'd much rather play a $5 exacta 3 with 8-9 for $10, and then a $2 exacta 8-9 with 3 that's going to cost me $4. I'm in that for $14. Obviously, you can ramp that up based on how much you're wanting to wager.
Gabaldon the 9, based on what he's done so far for Jose D'Angelo, he'd need to crank it up a notch to turn the tables on Reza Rolex.
He's got to take a step forward. But that's why there's trainers in the Hall of Fame, is because they can make a difference, right? Trainers, good trainers, can move horses up. No, I'm not saying that Jose's in the Hall of Fame yet. I'm saying that's why there is trainers in the Hall of Fame, is because trainers can move horses up. They can improve them. That's why trainers get the accolades that they do, is because they do have a hand in the development of these types of horses.
Reza's Rolex, 4-5 favorite in the rematch with Gabaldon. They met on synthetic back on November 14th. That one easily went to Reza's Rolex. We'll see if it's the same story on grass here in this nightcap from Tampa. Jason Beam, the call.
Gabaldon going forward. Here's Crumlin Ladd and Me Dinero going to be the final one to join, ready to close the show here on a Sunday. Crumlin Ladd coming up. Me Dinero, Joseph Trejos for Carlos Munoz in the Batman silks to the outside draw. Me Dinero coming up and going in. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Reza's Rolex flashing early foot. Hope and Him is right there. And driving through between them is Esperon. And Esperon coming up alongside of Reza's Rolex. Gabaldon is to the outside now, 3 in a line. Just in behind them toward the inside is Hope and Him in 4th. It's a break of 2 more. Back to Crumlin Ladd. Me Dinero's up to the outside of Dark Vintage. They race as a pair. They're length and a half in front of Big Louie. Then comes Codename and 4 more back to Chromed Impulse, who trails. To the far turn they run. Esperon, Gabaldon, those two squaring off through an opening quarter, 20.98 seconds. They are doing battles. Meanwhile, Reza's Rolex content to watch those two slug it out as they come around to the top of the stretch. Esperon, Gabaldon, Reza's Rolex swings out to the 3 path to chase them. Then comes Dark Vintage, length and a half more. Back to Crumlin Ladd, who's racing in 5th. Reza's Rolex got that perfect setup and now tries to pounce on these leaders. Here's Reza's Rolex on the outside. Esperon spent back in the 2nd position. Dark Vintage late close from Crumlin Ladd, but Reza's Rolex perfectly timed, wins at a length and a half. Dark Vintage was 2nd. 3rd, it looked to be Esperon holding off Crumlin Ladd.
Did not look good mid-race here for Reza's Rolex, who had to back out of a tight spot. We heard how fast they were going, though, and then it seemed like maybe a really good move by Edgar Zayas. Winds up going off at 2-5 and 9 wins in a row now for this 5-year-old.
Yeah, and 2 in a row on turf. I hated that decision while it was happening. Taking back out of that spot, giving up that ground in a 5-furlong turf sprint, but it worked out. The horse came circling, and the glorified place bet on the 3 hit. If you go 3 with 8-9 or 8-9 with 3, you hit it that way. Yeah, I mean, this horse has gotten really good.
He's just better.
Absolutely.
Got bet way down late. 2-5 in the end here. 9 wins in a row. 13 for 17 lifetime with 2 runner-up finishes. You don't see that kind of record very often in the sport, especially sprinting at these short distances, and now a horse doing it back-to-back on turf at 5 furlongs.
No, I mean, you certainly don't. And there's a million ways for horses to get beat. We see them every day. Good horses, best horses, all of that. It happens. But this horse has avoided it on 9 straight occasions. And in a turf sprint where there's the margin for error in a turf sprint is much smaller than if you're going 2 turns on the dirt or whatever it might be. To be able to find a way to win those races in a row, that many races in a row, is pretty impressive.
8-3, 6-10 finish. Reza's Rolex goes off at 2-5. Looked dicey for a moment. The win streak intact. 9 and counting for this 5-year-old to take the nightcap at Tampa. Back with you on America's Day at the Races. There's Gasper. He's had a long day. He deserves some rest. Program brought to you by America's Best Racing, making the sport easier to follow. Sport stories, betting tips, and race day insights at americasbestracing.net. I suggest maybe they do a story on him.
On Gasper?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do your thing, Gasper.
It's a fan favorite. This horse is becoming a fan favorite. He just keeps winning 9 straight, including the switch from synthetic to turf. He's won now back-to-back on the grass.
Yeah, you like to think that they're probably wondering, okay, we got something here. Now what do we do? How do we work backwards from some big races sprinting on the turf throughout the next couple of months?
Indeed, yeah, he might well deserve to tackle some tougher company. Edgar Zayas aboard, his second win on the day. He's with Maggie.
And he's been aboard Reza Rolex quite a few times, quite a few wins too. What a cool horse, Edgar.
Absolutely, you know, he's a hard-knocking horse, really cool horse. He probably doesn't have a great stake victory under his belt, but, you know, he knows how to win, and, you know, hopefully eventually he gets to that, you know, quality of races, and, you know, he's proven every test they gave him, he's done really good to PETA, and now on the turf, two in a row, so let's see what he could give.
Yeah, hopefully a great stakes possibly in his future, but also you're looking at the race, there was speed in there, and boy, did it play out that way. Talk about your decision to take back.
Absolutely, there's a lot of speed in the race. I know Esperon and Gabaldon are really fast horses, so my plan was to break running out of there and kind of like make them go faster than me and let them get away from me, and after that just sit back and just wait for the time, and when I pushed the button, he was there.
It's so nice to have a versatile horse who loves to win, but you love to win too. 5 for 11 here this weekend at Tampa. Talk a little bit about coming over here and getting on some live and really nice horses.
Absolutely. I got to give, thank you to all the owners and trainers that really gave me a really good opportunity this weekend here. it worked out perfect. I came to ride Tessellate for Safi and then ended up staying for Resale Rolex and had some business from Gulfstream that helped me out up here, and it worked out really good and had a really good weekend. Can't complain.
Well done, you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Reza Rolex. He keeps the win streak alive and keeps on rolling here on the turf. Greg?
Still a really fun story. And look, that was a brilliant ride by Zayas, and he could have been the GOAT here. That was a move where he would have taken all the blame for backing out of there in that spot. As you mentioned, 5 furlongs on the grass turned out to be the perfect move because they were flying up front.
Yeah, scapegoat, not the GOAT, not the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Look, he could be the GOAT.
It's been a long week.
Yeah, I hear you. No, he did. When he took back, I said, I as someone who was trying to beat the horse, I loved the move in that moment, meaning that I didn't think it was the right move, and it worked out being perfect. Usually that doesn't happen. I think it says a lot about the horse, though, to be able to do that, to overcome that.
Yeah.
And look, the horse won 13 times, ran 17 times, and a couple of those losses have come going 2 turns, which obviously not what this horse wants to do. Sprinting, very, very, very hard to beat.
Yeah, and equally talented on synthetic and turf. Maybe, who knows, maybe even better on turf. Now he's won his last 2 on the grass. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. We'll talk more Eclipse Awards 3-year-old division. It is a slam dunk lock, but 2 very, very good ones stole the show this year. Of course, Sovereignty, the headliner. Journalism, though, his Preakness was out of this world. We'll be back.
A warrior from the start.
Dornock is coming back. Dornock in the Remsen.
What separates the best isn't just talent, it's meeting the moment. Look your rival in the eye and say, not today.
It will be Dornock to win the Belmont Stakes.
And Dornock stubborn. Dornock wins the Haskell.
A world-class athlete made for the fight. That's Dornock.
A provision in a bill passed this summer reduces the tax deduction for wagering losses from 100% to 90%. This unfair change would tax horse players on a percentage of their losses, could cost over $1 billion in handle, and threaten thousands of jobs in the racing industry. That's why the NTRA is fighting to pass the Wager Act, a new bill that would restore the deduction to 100%. Tell Congress to pass the Wager Act. Visit ntra.com/wager.
Oaklawn Hot Springs is here for when you need to break away, when you want to reward yourself, when you deserve to indulge, when you want to be close to the action. It's all here. So what are you waiting for? Live racing returns with the classic racing season. So plan your stay at Oaklawn Hot Springs and come join the fun.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Back with you on our Fox Sports 1 coverage. You're watching America's Day at the Races. And Tampa's card in the books. What a way to close things out. Reza's Rolex, 9 wins in a row. Went to break, teasing this 3-year-old division for the Eclipse Awards a week from Thursday. It happens, big night in racing. And there's no question, we know who's going to win this award. 3 outstanding 3-year-olds. They were all tremendous this year, but Sovereignty completely stole the show.
He did. I mean, journalism was really good, but Sovereignty was better. The races that he ran in, the races that he ran well, right? His obviously his Derby, his Belmont, his Travers, outstanding. I still think we sometimes forget we were a little bit cheated by not getting a chance to see him. Forever Young, Sierra Leone, Fierceness, all getting the gate.
Spike to Fever, yeah, right.
For the Breeders' Cup.
Before the Breeders' Cup. Classic.
Yeah. It's one of those text messages you get, in racing. People are always paying attention. Some see it sooner than others. And someone texted me, Sovereignty's out. And I was like, oh, stop
It's like a punch to the gut.
Oh.
But he gave us so many great memories. He was a big reason why 2025 was such a great year in this sport. Pulling off only the 4th horse ever to win Kentucky Derby, Belmont Stakes, and Travers. First horse ever, if you throw in the Jim Dandy, to pull off those 4. He was sensational, and he got, maturity. You showed him new dimensions, like closer to the pace, particularly starting with that Belmont Stakes, and he got faster every single race as well.
If you think about the past few years, 10, 15 years, the best 3-year-olds we've had, right? Horses like, obviously, the Triple Crown winners, American Pharaoh, Justify. We didn't get to see them run at 4. You don't often get to see a superstar like this, who is heads and tails above the competition, come back as a 4-year-old. We've seen some average 3-year-olds come back and turn into sensational 4-year-olds. I love the example of Gunrunner and Frosted. I think we can only dream of what Sovereignty is going to be like, what he's going to turn into. And he doesn't on the surface seem like one of those I'm just better than you 3-year-olds. I'm picking on you. The way that he did it was so dominant that he was just all the way down to his core was better than the horses he was running against. I think we're going to see some special things out of him in 2026.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the best gift anyone in racing could have received, news that he's coming back for his 4-year-old campaign. He was sensational. Obviously, journalism with what he did, particularly in the Preakness. I mean, what an effort where it looked like he had absolutely no chance to win that race.
Yeah, and the great thing about him is that while I believe that we know who Sovereignty is and he'll probably progress, and I don't feel like he tricked us in any way, journalism's the type of horse who's got an opportunity to actually grow up. He got in his own way a lot, causing himself some confusion by being a little bit further back than he probably needed to be. And what if he grows up and turns into a horse that finds himself a little bit more forward? He certainly could be one. He wasn't that far behind Sovereignty. He was behind. I'm not making that argument. But he wasn't that far behind. And if he can grow up, he's one that I think could also make some noise in 2026 to make for a really nice rivalry.
And I don't think this horse is that far behind either of those two either. Baeza, he really started to get a lot better. I know it's Parks out in Pennsylvania, but he ran a huge race that afternoon. And a horse that John Schertz has always felt there was more to give from him. A horse I thought really could explode as a 4-year-old.
The argument for this horse all year was maturity. Oh, he's a little goofy. Oh, he's still trying to figure it out. Oh, he's got to grow up a little bit. Well, when you go from 3 to 4, you grow up. Maturity comes along with that. He's also in the arena of a horse that I wouldn't be shocked if he takes another step forward and improves and gets closer to journalism and then possibly even closer to Sovereignty. I'm very grateful that we have all 3 of these horses back. Last year we got 2 back, right, with Fierceness and Sierra Leone, and it led to a really fun year in 2026. We're getting all 3 of them back.
Amazing.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's going to be terrific. So we look forward to it. We're not back until Friday. So we'll see you America's Day at the Races Friday, 1:30 Eastern start time on FS2. Enjoyed getting you in the studio. Rare occasion.
I'm back. We
got to have a little more of this.
I missed the subway.
All right, so we'll see you Friday, 1:30 Eastern start time. Check your local listings. Hope you enjoyed it. Party in the Army. Big performance. Able to go gate to wire in the 6th at Aqueduct. Back-to-back wins now. And Reza Rolex, what a story at Tampa. 9 wins in a row, including shifting to the turf and now winning back-to-back on the lawn for Joe Orsino. We'll see you on Friday.